In my gut, I don't know whether to put it on today or not. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. We got a lot to talk about. We might have to go full bad cop at some point today because we've got a debunking to do. Shame on you guys. Shame on you guys over there. Absolutely despicable attempt at trying to establish an alibi. We've had to do this before, ladies and gentlemen. We've had to get out the bad cop hat and take apart alibis. I'm not afraid to do it again. I'm not opposed. But for now, we'll stay okay cop, not good cop, not bad cop, but we'll stay okay cop. We'll stay okay cop for now. And then we'll get into the nitty gritty and decide if we have to go absolutely bonkers or not, ladies and gentlemen. So I got a couple things I want to bring out of the way before we get to the opening statement. The opening statement today is fun. It's dark, really dark, but it adds an element of intrigue, or an element of explanation to what's going on. So here's a couple of things. One, I've watched Zach now do 2 debates. I admittedly did not watch all 11 hours of the combined debates, but I watched 2 debates, flipped around, watched clips people sent me. I want to advise people, and I've had people encourage me, you need to debate this person, you need to debate that person. You have to establish a ground rule. And if you're going to debate a trial, I suggest the burden of proof that goes with trials. I don't have to prove anything. I don't have to prove Tyler Robinson didn't take a shot. I don't have to prove anything. You have to prove he did. And prove it beyond a reasonable doubt in order to win the debate and thus the trial. And I would suggest to you that there's just not the evidence from which to have a seasoned debate, a reasonable debate right now. Here's why. The only thing we have is the charging document. That's it. That's the only evidence they're going to be able to present is the charging documents. And a few comments made by law enforcement officials, like Cash Patel made a comment about the palm gun and this and that, palm print, on the gun. But what they don't have is this mountain, this overwhelming evidence. There's all this stuff they think they have. And so what are we debating? Like, I'm still trying to figure out who was where, when, how, all these types of things in order to present the robust defense for the debate. But until we start seeing some semblance of evidence, all we have is an affidavit and a charging document. I'll be happy to debate people on that. I'll be happy to. You go through the charging document, you read what it says, you tell me your interpretation of what it says, and I'll poke holes on it. I'll win. That's a guaranteed victory. You can't lose that debate. You can't lose it. But I don't think that's worth anybody's time. So I would advise against that. I would rather say, Zach, you do your shows. Let them do their shows. That way we can speculate. We don't have any kind of limitations. But if people are just hell-bent on getting their brains beat in, let's have a debate according to the rules. So that's number one. And it reminds me, I'm reminded of the very first trial I ever tried. I represented a defendant. There was a vehicle involved. And the question was, did my beautiful, lovable 80-year-old great-grandmother pull out in front of somebody? That was the question. And then I guess tangential to that was, if she did, was the other lady even hurt? And so we had this whole trial. So I sit through the whole opening statement from the other side, and I just sit there cautiously, quietly. I listen. And then I get up and I start pulling up. I've got like 20 poster boards. This is the old days before they had PowerPoint. I had like 20 poster boards. These gigantic, they're like this big. You put them on an easel. And I used that as my outline for my opening. And I just put them up one at a time. It had deposition transcript. It has photos from the accident scene. It had medical records. And I just put them up one at a time. Boom, 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 boom. About 2/3 of the way through my opening, the judge stopped me. He said, Mr. Coleman, come to the bench, please. I was like, okay. So I went up there and he said, what are you doing? Because I told him it was my first trial. Introduced myself. Hey, Baron Coleman, first trial ever. Go easy on me, old man. And he came up. He said, what are you doing? And I said, I'm giving my opening statement. He goes, you don't have a burden. You know that, right? They have to prove all that. And I said, yeah, but I know where I'm going anyway. I know what my defense is going to be. So I might as well just get it out there early. And he goes, bad idea. And I said, why? He said, because what you're going to inevitably do is tell them you're going to prove something and it's not going to come up in trial, and I'm not going to let you introduce it because it hadn't come up. And then the jury's going to think you're hiding something from them. You promised to show them something. You're going to end up not showing them. And they're not going to like it. I thought it was good advice. That was great advice. I took it into my preparation for future trials. And he was right. He was right. Setting expectations early about evidence that will be seen by a jury is not necessarily ideal unless you control the flow of evidence, unless you control it. And that's the prosecution or that's the plaintiff. They control the flow of evidence primarily. I mean, the judge has a little say if you're getting too far away, but a lot of that's handled on pretrial motion. So I say all that to say a lot of the things we talk about on this program that Candace covers, that, some of the other folks cover, it may not ever make it in front of a jury, and that's okay because we're not held to the standard. I'm not trying a case here. I'm not trying to get a reasonable doubt for Tyler Robinson. I'm just trying to figure out who killed Charlie Kirk, how, and why. That's it. That's it. I'm not limited to the rules of evidence. I'm not limited to what a judge might say. I'm not limited to motions in limine to try to determine what comes in and what doesn't. I'm not limited to expert testimony. I'm not limited to whether someone passes this 702 test. I don't have any of those problems on this program. I can just talk. So that's number one. Number two, the who is as important as the how, in my opinion, right now. The who is as important as the how. There are a lot of people trying to make hay over the how, and I give them credit because I think they're onto something. I think they're doing a lot of really good work. I'm talking about the exploding microphone people, the exploding necklace people. There are a lot of people out there with a lot of different ideas for how it might have been done, electrocution, maybe a different caliber round. I've heard flanch-it. I've heard a lot of different ideas for what might have happened. Great. Let's discuss them. Let's explore them. But if we don't know who, then it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant because it could have been Tyler Robinson doing any number of those things. Or maybe Tyler Robinson goes free, but we still don't know who killed Charlie Kirk, how, and why. We might know the how, but we don't know the who and why. And that's problematic for me because I'm trying to solve a bigger problem than just whether or not Tyler Robinson is guilty or innocent. So the who to me is as important as the how. The who and the how are both important, but the who is as important as the how. And if I can put people in places they said they weren't, and it shows that they're dishonest, then I've got a leg up on the who. I've got a leg up on the who. All right. With that said, anything else I wanted to get off my chest before we started? There was one more thing. I can't remember what it was. Anyway, let me get into the opening statement. This opening statement's good. It goes right to the heart of what you're dealing with out there, right to the heart of this claim of innocence that you're going to see all over the place. It goes right to the heart of it. One of the most famous examples in American history. And I want to detail it specifically, though. I actually had the bones of this open already written, but I had to rewrite it because I wanted to focus specifically on the claims of innocence, the claims of innocence. So bear with me here as we get going, because this is your opening statement. One doesn't have to go very far down the list of most notorious American serial killers to find the name Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy was a charismatic law student turned serial killer who confessed to at least 30 murders of young women and girls across multiple states in the 1970s. What makes his case compelling and interesting, at least to me, is that Ted Bundy spent the vast majority of his public life loudly and defiantly proclaiming his complete innocence. From the moment of his first arrest in 1975 until the final hours before his execution nearly a decade and a half later in 1989, Bundy would tell anyone who would listen that he was innocent. He used courtrooms, jailhouse interviews, media appearances, self-representation at trial, personal letters to broadcast his innocence, and he did so with a theatrical firmness so convincing many people actually bought it. Imagine how effective he would have been in the era of social media. He, of course, denied the charges, but he also went much further. He mocked the charges. He turned them into punchlines, blamed the media, and he positioned himself as a victim of circumstantial evidence and overzealous prosecutors. His claims of innocence were performed for the cameras, performed in front of juries and the public. He often delivered them with a smile, perhaps even a laugh or a legal flourish that made the headlines. Over more than 13 years of legal proceedings, Bundy's insistence that he had harmed no one became one of the single most sustained and public displays of denial in modern American criminal history. Bundy's pattern began early in August 1975. Ted Bundy was pulled over in a stolen Volkswagen in Granger, Utah, and it was linked to the attempted kidnapping of Carol Duranch. He immediately declared his innocence to police and the press. He told reporters he was the victim of mistaken identity and sloppy police work. By the time he stood trial in Salt Lake City, February 1976, for the kidnapping, Bundy had already crafted a public narrative of persecution. When the jury convicted him, he responded with outrage rather than resignation. In a 1977 jailhouse interview while awaiting extradition to Colorado on murder charges, Bundy was filmed leaning casually against the bars, laughing as he said, "You're not guilty. I'm not guilty. Does that include the time I stole a comic book when I was 5 years old?" In the footage, he can be seen trailing off with a kind of a wry smile that framed any possible minor transgressions as absurdly equivalent to the horrific crimes he was accused of committing. Later, in the same interview, when asked if he still believed everything would turn out all right, he replied firmly, "Yes, now more than ever," insisting he was innocent and just happens to be in this case. His tone was breezy. He was confident. He was almost amused. It was exactly the demeanor he cultivated to project normalcy and victimhood. You know, he escaped custody twice after that in 1977. The first time in Aspen, Colorado. The second time in Glenwood Springs, Colorado. He was found across the country in Florida. On February 15, 1978, he was arrested in Pensacola after a high-speed chase. As Leon County Sheriff Ken Katsaris read the indictment, charging him with the Chi Omega sorority house murders and the abduction and murder of a 12-year-old girl named Kimberly Leach, Ted Bundy seized the moment for the cameras and chided the sheriff, saying, "Go ahead and read it." Then turned directly to the press, flashed a smile, and declared loudly, "My chance to talk to the press. I'll plead not guilty right now." The statement was captured on live television and became an instant soundbite. It reinforced his image as cocky, media savvy, someone who treated murder charges like a game that he believed he was winning. Bundy's loudest and most theatrical proclamations came during his two trials in Florida in 1979. In the first trial for the Chi Omega attacks that killed Lisa Levy and Margaret Bowman and left two others severely injured, Bundy exercised his right to represent himself. As his own lawyer, he cross-examined witnesses, including surviving sorority sisters. And then he repeatedly interrupted proceedings to assert his innocence. When the prosecution introduced pretty damning bite mark evidence that matched his teeth almost exactly, Bundy took the stand. He wore a Seattle Mariners t-shirt, and he used a pointer and dental charts to argue that he had not chipped his front tooth until after the arrest. He was, in essence, claiming the evidence was fabricated, or at least coincidental. In his closing argument, Bundy casually told the jury, quote, "The state's evidence is insufficient to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Mr. Bundy and no one else is the person that committed these crimes." He referred to himself in the third person, as if he was analyzing someone else's case. Despite overwhelming evidence that included eyewitness identification, Bundy maintained his composure and continued expressing his innocence. When the judge sentenced him to death, Bundy stood and declared he was being railroaded and that the trial had been a travesty. Just months later, in the Orlando trial for Kimberly Leach's murder, Bundy again acted as his own attorney, this time as co-counsel. He delivered one of his most explicit public denials. During the sentencing, after the jury had recommended death, he addressed the court directly. "I do not know what happened to Kimberly Leach. I did not kill her. I did not kidnap her. I'm innocent of those charges." He went further, blaming the publicity and the hysteria for his conviction and insisting the case against him was built on innuendo, gossip, and accusations. His voice was steady. He stood tall. He projected the image of a wronged professional man. When the judge imposed the death sentence, Bundy stated firmly, "I will see you at the next trial," as if to imply there were more victories coming his way. These statements were calculated. They were repeated, and they were delivered to packed courtrooms and national television audiences. After both death sentences, Bundy continued his campaign of public innocence, this time from death row at the Florida State Prison. In letters to family members, particularly his cousin Edna Martin, he berated the family for believing innuendo, gossip, and accusations. He urged them to ignore the grisly evidence. In a 1986 letter, he wrote chillingly, quote, "I have no guilt. I have no remorse or regret for anything I've done. What is done is done." While admittedly, the phrasing is ambiguous enough to allow him to claim he was speaking of minor past mistakes, the context clearly was still denying the murders. He told interviewers he felt sorry for people who feel guilt. He positioned himself as if he had nothing to feel guilty about. In one recorded statement, he said, "No man is truly innocent. I mean, we have all transgressed in some way in our lives. And as I say, I've been impolite. There are things I regret having done in my life, but nothing like the things I think that you're referring to." It was a masterful deflection. It was a masterful admission also to being impolite, but it maintained his innocence in the serial killings. His denials extended to strategic legal maneuvers. He fired attorneys who suggested pleading guilty in exchange for life sentences. He insisted they couldn't possibly represent him if they doubted his innocence. He filed appeals and motions that repeatedly cited his absolute innocence. In interviews with journalists, he spoke of crimes in the third person, using phrases like, quote, "the person who did these things." This maintained the fiction that he was merely speculating about another perpetrator. Even as late as 1988, as his execution closed in, he rejected opportunities to confess in exchange for clemency. He told death row visitors and lawyers confessing would betray his principles because he had done nothing wrong. Ted Bundy aggressively cultivated the narrative that he was innocent. He granted interviews, wrote letters, and used his law school training to somewhat dominate courtrooms. His charm was described by those who knew him as genuine charm. And this genuine charm caused many to believe his denials. Ann Rule, a woman who worked with him at a suicide hotline years before his arrest, initially found it difficult to reconcile the man she knew with the nasty accusations against him. Bundy worked hard to exploit that disbelief. He turned every camera into a stage, every courtroom into a platform. He once told a reporter, "I'm not asking for mercy, for I find it somewhat absurd to ask for mercy for something I didn't do." And this encapsulated his strategy, which was to reject guilt entirely, portray the system as corrupt, and maintain the status of the innocent man fighting for justice. Only in the final days before his execution did he finally crack. On January 23 and 24, 1989, in interviews with detectives, Bundy began confessing to specific murders. He went beyond confession. He provided specific details that only the killer possibly could know. He admitted to the Chi Omega killings, the abduction of Kimberly Leach, and dozens more. Even then, his confessions were partial and still self-serving. He never fully abandoned the narrative that had sustained him for all those years. Hours before he was strapped into the electric chair, Bundy finally told a minister he had confronted his guilt. In the end, Ted Bundy's loud, firm, and repeated declarations of innocence were more of a performance that defined his image than a viable legal defense. He maintained that posture for nearly 2 decades. He proclaimed it in Utah police stations, Colorado jail cells, Florida courtrooms, and death row letters. He said it was smiles for the cameras, legal arguments in open court, private correspondence to loved ones, family. He stated it with specific statements like, "I plead not guilty right now. I did not kill Kimberly Leach. I have no guilt, remorse, or regret." Ted Bundy's story is more fascinating because of his consistent and unflinching statements of his innocence. While he's certainly not the only one to do so, he's a perfect example of a killer, a serial killer, who refused to acknowledge his guilt until the very end was unavoidable. His case remains a chilling study in how loudly and convincingly a guilty man can proclaim his innocence, and how a man can turn denial into its own form of psychological manipulation. And that is your opening statement. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. All right. This is a fun show. Not every day I get to have a show that I have this much fun on. because I get to revisit a guy who has done more to help this case than almost anybody. Almost anybody. Of all the people who have helped the case, who have come to the defense of the idea that maybe Tyler Robinson didn't do it. We've got Candace Owens. She's done yeoman's work. I feel like we've done a good job here on this show as well. But I don't think anybody, honestly, has done as good as a guy named Gary from Paramount Tactical. I'm going to show you just a little bit of the hard work Gary has done to help prove that Tyler Robinson might not have done it. I'm going to go back in time. This is an excellent, excellent piece of reporting Gary did here. He basically tricked Gary's son into confirming, he tricked Mitch Snow's son into confirming that Mitch Snow was at Fort Huachuca. That was not known. In fact, that was hotly debated at the time. If you remember, if you go back in time, when the Mitch Snow idea first populated, there was a lot of doubt whether he was even there. But they couldn't get it past Gary. They tried. They tried to get it past Gary. They tried to lie. They tried to feed him bad information. Gary's like a top-tier investigative reporter. I'll show you what I mean. When your own child is trashing you, you must be a bad guy. Nothing you say can be believed. Surely no one will believe you're at Fort Huachuca. After that, well, let's see how that went. I will suggest it did not go as planned.
Security clearance.
Or if he does walk into the Joint Task Force staff duty, he might end up detained and outside getting the canines called on him as per this report, which, again, I don't even know if this report is real or not.
Oh, Gary doesn't know if the report's real or not. Hey, Mitch Snow's son, that's probably your indication to play into that. Lean into that, Mitch Snow's son. Let's go with we don't know if the report's real. What say you, Mitch Snow's son?
There's so much craziness going on with this report.
I
It's
mean,
not a plate number.
They called me on September 9th.
Hold on. They called him. The Fort Huachuca called the guy. Fort Huachuca called Mitch Snow's son on September 9th. It gets worse. I want you to count the number of times Gary blinks. Watch the fight or flight response kick in. All that military training out the window the moment the kid outs you. All that military training just goes away. All the ability to withstand the pressure. All the ability to be cool under pressure, cool under fire. Watch how many times he blinks.
Asking me if I knew anything about a Mitch Snow and telling me that I was listed as his number one emergency contact. And I just remember sitting there for like a minute, like, I don't know a Mitch Snow. I don't know why I'd be on somebody's emergency contact.
Did you see the big breath? I think he sucked in like 9 gallons of air. He blinked 10 times in under 5 seconds and then sucked in at least 15 gallons of air all at once. Oh, no. It can't have gotten worse, Gary. As you see, he did yeoman's work. Gary played a brilliant game here, a brilliant game, because Gary took to the airwaves under the idea he was luring in Mitch Snow's son, acting as if he was a friendly. And then what Gary did was he hit him with the police report. I don't even know if this police report's real. He had to have known the police called him. I mean, did you not do a pre-interview? You don't talk to people before you put them on? He had to have known. Gary, we appreciate your hard work there, friend. That was stellar reporting. I mean, stellar. This investigation would have been light years behind had Gary not done that. I mean, this investigation would have been so far behind had Gary not pulled that move. It was brilliant. He trapped Mitch Snow's son into admitting that Mitch Snow was at Fort Huachuca, basically vindicating Candace Owens. This was a time, remember, when everyone was acting like this guy wasn't even a Green Beret. He had no credibility. He couldn't possibly have been at Fort Huachuca. No, not, you can't get that past Gary. No, sorry, Bubsky. That wasn't it, believe it or not. Gary went one step further. He wasn't satisfied with merely proving Mitch Snow was at Fort Huachuca. Instead, Gary wanted to prove that Andrew Kolvet was the one behind the scenes orchestrating things. Gary wanted to help us out because we were wondering, how is Gary getting all this information? So Gary wanted us to know that it was Andrew Kolvet. And against Andrew Kolvet's request to keep this hidden and act like he was just coming up with stuff out of nowhere, Gary outs him. I'll show you how that went. This was absolutely brilliant reporting. Gary, thank you so much for this hard work you did on this case. Again, we would not be where we are without you, Gary. In the middle, he is sharing his screen, a series of text messages. We don't yet know who they're from, but I will let Gary take it away.
But, I asked him, hey, do you have proof of this? He says, but it's worth saying Erica wasn't in some fort in Tucson. The internet's gone insane. She woke up next to Charlie on the 9th, went to the office with Charlie all day, woke him up from a nap before a fox hit, went to dinner with Charlie. Literally, people are lunatics. And then the next one, I will show you guys.
I want to pause here real quickly, because this gets back to the exact same argument that Erica made when she was talking about not being on an Egyptian airline. No, I wasn't on Egyptian airplanes. Hey, Erica, that was never, ever the allegation. No one accused you of being on Egyptian air flight. Likewise, no one accused you of being at some fort in Tucson. Now, I understand what Andrew Kolvet, we'll learn in a moment, this is Andrew Kolvet. I understand what Andrew's doing here. He's guiding the talking points. He is directing the Fed slop narrative. Raises the question, if these truly are absolution for where Erica was that day, why are they not texting this to Candace? Candace is the one asking for it. I'm going to skip ahead just a little bit because we have serious business to tend to today, and I don't need to hear myself talk for the next 3 minutes. Let me jump ahead just a little bit. Come on, Gary, hit me with it. You got to be fast.
We have this one.
Look like me out there.
And then I'll show you an up-close picture with the metadata that we have on the screen itself. Proof, she was with her kids at 8:33 a.m. Pacific time, which again, in September, Arizona's on Pacific time. Taking them for a walk. Apparently I wasn't supposed to share that. But anyways, point being is that's 8:33 a.m. It shows the date on that.
Yeah, apparently I wasn't supposed to share that. Yeah, because that kind of betrays the fact that I'm giving you original content. Oh, Gary, an absolute stud of this investigation. One of the great investigators out there proving Tyler Robinson's defense. So, Gary, we appreciate you. You've done a stellar job undermining the TPUSA people while acting like a friendly. It's been amazing. You did some more work here recently, and we're going to play a little bit of that tonight. Stuff we haven't shown on this show yet. But I want to point one thing out about that picture of the kids. A lot of people looked at that picture and said, that doesn't look like her kids. They're not. They're not. I think that will be coming soon. I think you'll see that very soon, that those are not her kids. And again, if those aren't her kids, why are they being set forth as her kids? Why are they putting those out there as her kids? Notice what wasn't in either of those two attempted alibis. Number one, trying to undermine Mitch Snow was never Erica Kirk coming out and saying, I was not there. With the text messages was not Erica Kirk coming out and saying, I was not there. Nor, frankly, was it Andrew Kolvet saying Erica wasn't there or Erica wasn't there. Instead, they go through these third-party intermediaries. We'll see that pattern play out again tonight, and I want to suggest there's a reason that this is an effective tool. You guys remember the Superman neck tweet that Andrew Kolvet put out? And then Erica Kirk just ran over him on the bus because she's like, he's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He shouldn't have done that. Guys, let me tell you something. There's something devastating at trial when you get something out of someone's own mouth and you prove it's a lie. You get them to say it in a deposition. Maybe it's some recorded conversation. They may or may not even know it exists. They may not remember it exists. And then you get them on the stand and they deny it. Of course, that's what happens. And then you just beat them over the head with the reality that they're liars. Not only were they where you said they were, they have a guilty conscience about it because they're not being honest about it. It's not as effective if you say the hearsay route. Well, Andrew told me he wasn't there. That's not as effective. It's not as effective if you say, well, my lawyer said this, or, well, Gary said this. It's just not as effective as it coming out of the person's own mouth. And so there's this have your cake and eat it too moment they're trying to have. They want the defense out there, but they don't want the burden of saying it themselves because they always want to be able to back the bus over somebody. That's not what we meant when we sent it over there. I don't know why she sent that picture of random 2 kids that are clearly not her 2 kids. I don't know why she sent that over there. I don't know what Andrew was thinking. I don't know why he would have sent that to Gary. He knows those aren't her kids. Poor Andrew. What an idiot. I mean, that's what they're saving is the ability to back the bus over Gary, to back the bus over Andrew, to back the bus over anybody to save the queen. The queen in this case being Erica, not the actual queen. Now, that brings us to something that's happened today because we have somebody who's popped up. This is a frequent guest of perhaps the greatest investigative mind in the Charlie Kirk sphere, Gary. I'm going to share with you just a small clip under fair use, Gary, because I just have to introduce this girl and show that you guys are in fact connected. This girl on the right is a Gary guest. She comes on Gary's show. She says crazy stuff. I'll give you a sample here where she was attacking your humble host.
I don't care if it was $100,000 a week.
I would be interested to see, since he's a lawyer.
They're talking about me. I'm he. Let's hear what this brilliant woman has to say.
I would be interested to see if you can go in and see if people have reported anything against his law license or like to the bar, the bar association or anything like that. Because what he's doing, I feel like violates the
Well said. I feel like it violates the well. So this is the girl. I'll introduce you to her in just a moment. But I want to answer her question because I think it's a valid question. Has anyone ever filed a bar complaint against me? Not one that's been accepted by the bar. I'm licensed in 3 states, Gary. You keep saying Florida. I've been licensed in Florida since 2007. 19 years I've been licensed there without incident, no bar complaints, no issues. I've been licensed in Alabama for 20 years, since 2006. Again, no accepted bar complaints. There was one lunatic who tried to file a bar complaint against me for something I said on the radio. This would have been, 7, 8 years ago, maybe 9 years ago. I'm not sure when it was. She was representing pharmaceutical companies or somebody. She was representing some trade group, I think, and they were arguing against medical marijuana in a health committee in a state legislature in Alabama. And I suggested that it was weird that she was taking the position of a big pharma whore. Because on the radio, I call people globalist, corporatist whores. That's what they were. These are people who push globalism, who push corporatism over and above humanity. And so I long refer to people like statists, big government people as globalist, corporatist whores. That's what they are. They are prostitutes for that industry, for that position. Likewise, we had war whores, people who are pushing defense and war, like Lindsey Graham, Ted Cruz, Mike Huckabee. And then I had big pharma whores. The big pharma whores were people who were pushing big pharma to harm individuals. And so I questioned, why was this woman a big pharma whore? She filed a bar complaint against me and lied in it and said I called her a prostitute. I did not. The tapes were submitted as evidence. Her thing was dismissed before the bar ever accepted it. And they wrote me a nice letter, a very kind letter. And I posted it to Twitter years ago, maybe to Facebook too. A very kind letter they sent back. And they said, essentially, we have refused to accept this. You can go and honestly say no one has ever filed a bar complaint against you. Nevertheless, even though they told me that, I'm going to be honest with you. She tried to file one because I called her a big pharma whore. And she was a big pharma whore. She was. But I'm going to be honest with you. It's happened. But here's the problem with what she's so eloquently trying to say. When you go after a lawyer and you call them a scam artist or a liar like these people have done, you're going right after them in their profession. That's defamation per se. Meaning, if I wanted to file a lawsuit, I could do that. I could file a lawsuit against them and say they're going right after me in my profession. Like if someone's a bad plumber and I go after them and say, this guy can't plumb. He wouldn't know water if it just poured all over him. He doesn't understand how to seal valves. He doesn't know how to use that giant wrench to tighten stuff. He just lets it, toilet water going everywhere, ruin. But it wasn't true, right? That's going right after him in his profession. He can sue me. That's defamation per se. The per se means I don't have to prove damages. The damages are presumed. I'm not going to do that because I'm not petty and low down. I don't look at going after people's profession and their ability to care for their 8 children or 2 children or whatever she had, maybe no children. Look at her. I don't go after people like that when we just disagree about a political issue. It's irrelevant to me. I don't go after them when they just go after, a legal case and they take a different side and I have a disagreement about the merits of the legal case. I think that's ludicrous. But that's the kind of people we're dealing with on the other side here. That's the people that we're dealing with. We're dealing with her. She was not content with, what date was this? I might need to use that date. March 5th. That was several weeks ago. She was not content to just go on the premier Tyler Robinson supporters show, Gary. She was not content to just go on Gary's show and be a part of the premier Tyler Robinson defense show. She's actually gotten back in it. She has now put up a video. Now, that's important to tie to make sure that we know that all of these attempted alibis, the Mitch Snow wasn't at Fort Huachuca. That went through Gary, probably from Andrew. The Erica Kirk was at home. Here's her text message. That went through Gary. And we know it came from Andrew because he was, frankly, such a good investigator. He showed it on the camera. Thank you, Gary. So we know there's this Andrew-Gary connection when it comes to establishing alibis. It exists. I've proven it. I don't have to say any more about it. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Gary. Because this gal is back, believe it or not. Believe it or not, she is actually back. She wants more. Fine. I guess she doesn't have enough on her plate. That doesn't surprise me, taking a gander. But let me show you here what she is up to these days. There was a discussion on this program and Candace Owens' program about the tarmac hug. This was where Candace swears up and down on a stack of Bibles. Andrew told her, I actually talked to Candace today and confirmed that Andrew told her that she would never forget this, that she can't possibly have made it up. This is just something that's like ingrained in her body. She recalls it plain as day yesterday. Andrew, you're free to deny you said it. I want to make that. Let me pull this down and look in the camera, Andrew. I encourage you, if it wasn't true, please do this, by the way. If you did not say that, Andrew, just deny it. You don't have to do all this. You can just deny it. Just come out and deny it. See how that goes. I'll suggest it may not end the way you think it will. But here's the tarmac hug that never was. So they're denying the tarmac hug. Andrew Kolvet flight itinerary. That's a key word there. We'll talk about that. Flight itinerary for 9/10/25 just dropped. It's my contention. It's Candace's contention that it's likely or possible or at least probable, at least in my opinion, that Andrew might have been on an earlier flight than he is claiming. Instead of flying directly from Santa Barbara to Provo, he might have taken an earlier flight to Scottsdale. The problem for Andrew, if he was on that earlier flight, is he would have had to get to the airport probably before or just about the exact time as the Big Bang. That flight took off, I think, 17 minutes or so after Charlie Kirk went down. You can't get from your desk into your car to the airport, out of your car, into the airport, in the airport parking lot, out of your car, into the airport, out on the tarmac, on the plane, close the door, cross-check, clear for takeoff, and start taxiing down the runway in 17 minutes. It's just not possible. Or 14 minutes, whatever it was. That's not possible. So if he was on the earlier flight, it raises a serious suspicion about what Andrew knew and when he knew it. And so there's this desperation, this real desperation to prove he was on another flight. And so this girl gets involved. Gary's guest gets involved. Once again, real Candace O and Baron Coleman were completely wrong. Oh, we'll talk about that. Were we? Were we wrong? Info provided from House and Habit. We'll talk about that as well. We'll talk about who she is. And she breaks it all down for us in this video. I'll explain what she does. It's garbage. It's garbage. But the reason I bring it up is look at Andrew calling out from under a rock. This is factual. Which part, Andrew? It's a 4-minute and 10-second video. Which part is factual, and is it factual? As I explained to Candace today, when I would argue in front of a judge, particularly in an appellate case or any kind of motion practice, I would put at the top of the legal pad what I called the red line. That was the line I couldn't cross. If I crossed that, I lost the case. And sometimes you've got bad clients, you've got bad facts, you've got bad law. You can't win the case. But you have to hold the red line. You cannot give up. You have to give your client the best representation possible, even if it starts to sound absurd after a while. So I would put the point up there. Whatever the point was, I would put it in bold Sharpie right at the top. I always carry a Sharpie with me. I'm sure I got one in here somewhere. Yeah, right here. Always carry a Sharpie with me. Because you can see a Sharpie, even if you're tired, if your eyes aren't working, if you lose your readers, you can always see the Sharpie, the bold Sharpie at the top of the page, the red line you can't cross. I would suggest this is a red line they can't cross. They absolutely cannot admit under any circumstances Andrew was on an earlier flight. If he was on an earlier flight, if he went to Scottsdale first, they have real problems, like FBI problems, state of Utah problems, huge problems. So this is a real issue. This has become potentially a make or break issue in this case. How do I know that that's what they think? Well, A, they've dispatched this girl. She's not real bright. She can't even get out the word bar complaint. But the second reason is the attacks have kicked up. I know when we're close to something because the attacks kick up. It must be expensive to attack people or something. I'm not sure. They must not be able to afford to attack all day, every day. They wait until there's a critical issue and then they go on the attack. They go on the attack at that moment. Like when we got near Fort Huachuca, the attacks went crazy. Whoa, they went nuts. And then they died down for a little bit. And we explored other things and there weren't a lot of attacks. And I thought, we must not be over the target. There's no attacks right now. We mentioned this flight. Now there are attacks. And they're coming from every direction. And they're really going hard. We're going to take his law license. Okay, have fun. Enjoy that. You can file in 3 different states. Have fun with that. Have fun with that. Go for it. And I'll instantly commence all the defamation per se cases in every jurisdiction where they're right. And I would suggest there's probably about 30 of them you'll be defending in. But that's okay. That's okay. So where did it come from? We've already seen this well-spoken, investigative broad was wanting to weigh in. She wants to amplify because the first person that put it up wasn't getting much traction. She puts her 4-minute and 10-second video up. It's not getting any traction. So Andrew jumps in and he got a little traction. But where did it come from? Where was the original tweet? Well, the original tweet was from right here. It was from somebody named House and Habit. We'll talk about this in just a second. Who is this woman and what is her totally disinterested claim? How did they even find this girl? How did she get a hold of the manifest? Someone had to have given it to her, right? These aren't just floating around on the internet. You can't just do a Google search and find these. And it's not a manifest anyway. It's just an itinerary. But this is Jessica Reed Krause. I didn't know who that was. I never heard of this woman in my life. Candace devoted a whole show to an imagined tarmac hug. Imagined? Andrew's free to decline it. He's free to deny it. Andrew, if it's not true, I encourage you to do that. We'll see how that goes. I obtained a copy of the flight manifest from September. No, you didn't. No, you didn't, lady. You didn't. I've seen manifest. I have manifest. That's not a manifest. That's an itinerary. That's an itinerary. Those are 2 different things. An itinerary is a plan. If you go to Expedia or Travelocity or Southwest or Delta and you order a ticket for April, you're going to get an itinerary. An itinerary. The manifest is filed after the flight, and it says who was actually on the plane. You don't have that, lady. I'll prove it in just a second. Candace says, yada, yada, yada. What actually happened? Yada, yada, yada. It's interesting that it's a lackey saying all this. It's not Andrew Kolvet, but that's neither here nor there. Not to mention, tail number and type of plane Andrew and his wife were on actually match none of the planes Candace gives to her audience. Well, we'll look at that as well. But this is the document that she purports is the manifest, the lock solid, guaranteed proof that Andrew actually was on this flight. The only problem with that is, look right here at the top word, itinerary. There's more problems than that, I promise you. There are way more problems than just itinerary. But I got to ask real quickly, before we even get into the manifest, who is this woman? Who is Jessica Reed Krause? And what is her interest in this case? Here's Jessica Reed Krause. She has her own Wikipedia page. She must be really important. She's a writer, Instagram influencer, former mommy blogger who writes the newsletter House Inhabit. House Inhabit. She grew her Instagram account as a home improvement and lifestyle influencer. Okay, I see what you're doing here. I see where we're going. I see what we're doing here. Her husband, Mike, got a construction job, and she thought, I can show a couple of things on camera that'll really get people tuned in. And so she's basically sponging off of her husband's career by gallivanting around the camera. That's how she got noticed. Then she started getting into controversial cases, and she realized her popularity was taking off, so she leaned into it. This is the Britney Spears case. She went to the Ghislaine Maxwell case. She went to the Harvey Weinstein case, and things really started picking up for her. Then she went to got involved with the Amber Heard, Johnny Depp case. Her political views is what's interesting to me here. She previously considered herself a super liberal, but then she reinvented herself. She completely reinvented herself and became a big Donald Trump supporter, even going to Mar-a-Lago for a Super Bowl party. Well, that's really interesting. She's from San Clemente, California. She's married to a man named Mike. Mike got her start because he does houses. Okay. This is interesting to me because I see this picture and I immediately said, I recognize that logo. Now, this is the girl who got the manifest. This is the girl who posted the alleged manifest that we're going to tear apart in just a second. It's not real. I'll spoil the ending. The manifest is not real. The itinerary is not real. We can prove it. I will in a moment. Allegedly, in my opinion. But look at this picture. I'll make it bigger for those of you with bad eyes. What is that logo in the background? That's the Turning Point USA logo. Not only is she in big with the MAGA movement, she was actually a speaker at the 2024 Young Women's Leadership Summit. That's a TPUSA event. She's a hack. She's a hack. She's one of them. Andrew, this is amateur hour, Andrew. I deserve better psyops, Andrew. My audience deserves better psyops. This is beneath you. You've insulted this high IQ outfit, Andrew. You've insulted this high IQ outfit. We cultivate intelligence. We cultivate logic. And you hit me with some hack speaker at your event? And you're just going to leak a manifest? Well, lady, let me tell you something. He obviously thinks you're not very smart. He obviously thinks you're not very smart. Let me pull the manifest back up. I want to go through a few things on here. A couple of things that interested me about this manifest. Well, for one, let me pull it back up. There we go. Well, for one, this is a manifest from Paradise Charters or Paradise Jets. Now, that might not mean much to you, but if you really dig into how airlines work, this is a big tell. Paradise Jets does not operate Regency Airline planes. This plane right here is a Regency Airline plane. You'll also notice the tail numbers blacked out. Crudely edited, I might add. In other words, you will never, ever, ever get a passenger manifest or itinerary, from Paradise Jets for a jet operated by Regency Airlines. That's not me saying that. That's the law. And I will explain how in just a moment. But first, I got to look at this. This is something I noticed today as we were trying to pull up documentation on who owned these Part 135 charters. There's a database, a government database, that will tell you every charter plane has what's called a Part 135 certificate. You can go on the line, you can go online and you can pull up the Part 135 certificate holders. It's critical because in order to operate a charter aircraft, you have to have the Part 135 certificate. And the dadgum database was down today. Wouldn't you know? Well, lucky for me, we don't wait until the last moment around here. This is something we've been working on. So let me show you a couple of things. One, this is what the database showed before today. Andrew, I've got a Daisy. You've got Gary. I would submit that you are out of your league. This is the airplane right here. This is the Title 14 CFR Part 135 operators and aircraft. This is in green, the alleged aircraft that Andrew flew on. You'll notice it says right here, the Part 135 certificate holder name is Regency Air, LLC. Meaning, the only person who can legally operate this aircraft is Regency Air. If you want to reserve this aircraft, you have to call Regency Air or you have to call a broker. But if you call a broker, your itinerary is going to show the broker or it's going to show Regency Air. It's not going to show Paradise Jets. They don't have anything to do with it. It's a totally different organization. So that's that. Well, is it possible? Maybe they have more than one charter, Part 135 charter? Well, let's look because I have Paradise Jets 135 charters. They act like this is the first investigation we've ever done. They're wrong. Here are the Paradise Jets charters. They only have charters on 3 planes. This is the N102 Delta Zulu plane right here in the middle. This is the plane Charlie Kirk took that morning and came and the flight allegedly flew empty back to Scottsdale and allegedly picked up Erica Kirk and flew back to Salt Lake City. Or excuse me, flew back to Provo. That's that middle plane of the 3 yellow planes, N102 Delta Zulu. This is N582 Mike, N79 Sierra Charlie. Those are the only 3 planes you could ever get an itinerary for from Paradise Jets, in my opinion. I think legally I'm right on that. But we weren't sufficient. That wasn't sufficient. That wasn't sufficient because we asked, why would Paradise Jets, who is not a broker, I've confirmed they're not a broker, why would they list a flight operated by a completely different certificate holder under their own letterhead without any disclosures? They wouldn't. They wouldn't. You know how I know that? Daisy called them, both Paradise Jets and Regency Air. She ran this scenario by them, and they both agreed this can't happen. Neither one of them are brokers, and they only produce itineraries for their own jets. They're out of their league. They're out of their league. I don't know who they think we are. But if you go back, I want to go back and show you something. This is amazing. The bottom picture right here is the picture from the itinerary. This is the picture from the itinerary here. You'll notice if you zoom in, if you look real closely on the tail at the bottom, there's no tail number on it. See on the top up here, there's a tail number, this N937RA. They're supposedly showing you the jet that they're going to be flying on, but they blacked out the tail number because it's not the same jet. This is the picture they blacked it out from. This is the picture they photoshopped. This top picture. We were able to track that picture down. So they've They already edited the document, but I'm telling you right now, you're not going to get a Regency Air flight on a Paradise Jet letterhead. You're just not going to. It's just not possible. In my opinion, I will be happy to review an actual manifest, but you're not going to get that. And let me say this here, man to man, Andrew, this is unnecessary. This is unnecessary. You don't have to go to Gary. A lot of people have my number. I don't want to give it out over the air, but a lot of people have it. You can get it from Candace. You can get it from a lot of people. Call her and ask for my number. Just call me. You don't have to try to do this debunking through Gary's broads. Just call me. I will make the correction. My goal is to be correct, not to nail you to the wall, not to prove you did anything. My goal is to be correct, Gary. I want to be accurate. I have this open standing agreement with anyone who has evidence that I've been wrong or that my opinion needs to be changed. Give me the evidence and I'll change my opinion. I'll make a correction. That goes for everything I've said. Everything. If you were on that flight, let me know. Call me. You can find me. I'm not hard to track down, despite what some people say. It's unnecessary doing this song and dance. Just get on the record. Just get on the record. Now, we have to ask the question, who owns Paradise Jets? Would they have a motivation in creating something fake, or was this created fake at TPUSA? Did some aspiring Twittress go fake this thing up on Photoshop? So I looked it up, and I found an article who identifies the owner of Paradise Jets, and I looked her up. She seems perfectly nice. Her name is Cynthia Thomas. Here's her Instagram page. And if you open this up, this is an article here. You can go read it yourself. But it talks about owning Paradise Jets. Welcome to Paradise. Cynthia Thomas is elevating private aviation. They are expanding in Scottsdale. I think they're now up to 3 planes. This whole thing here is about her owning Paradise Jets. So I just had to know, who is this woman? Like, she seems nice. Would she be in on it? Like, is she biased in any way? I know Jamie Thomas allegedly is one of the pilots who would ferry Charlie around the country. But I mean, if you're just a pilot, are you really biased? You just have a job, right? They hire you and they give you $25,000 to take them to Dallas and back. And so you do it. I mean, are you really invested in any way? Well, let's go back and find out. Because if we scroll back, this is Cynthia, the owner of Paradise Jets, and that's Jamie, the pilot for Paradise Jets, having a blast celebrating the inauguration with TPUSA. They look like they're having a blast. To their credit, that looks like a lot of fun. I would be really tempted to support an organization that let me have that much fun at the inauguration and paid me that much money. The temptation would be there, guys. I'm just telling you. They both look amazing. They're having so much fun. This looks great. They're having a great time. Good for them. Good for them. This is them all geared up for the pre-inaugural ball by TPUSA. They look like $1 million. I mean, they're a good-looking couple. They look rich, powerful. This is great. I mean, this is great stuff. I would post this on Instagram if this was my life. I don't know what that was. But they are just involved in the TPUSA scene. This is who they are. They get involved in the TPUSA scene. So good for them. Good for them. But that's who owns it. So I put all this together and I think this is weird, right? This is a little weird. We've got Paradise Jets owned by a TPUSA groupie that has an itinerary for a Regency Air flight. It's weird. The Regency Air flight lists Andrew Kolvet on it, but it's not the manifest. It's just the itinerary. But it lists Andrew and his wife, Caitlin. This is a little weird because I thought I remember Candace saying that he was like pacing the cabin or all alone on this giant airplane. This is a pretty small jet. This is a Hawker Beechcraft. This is not a Beechcraft Hawker 400 XP. This is not a huge plane, And if he's there with his wife and he didn't leave until this time, nearly 3 hours after Charlie Kirk was taken down, he would have no reason to wonder what was going on. He told the New York Times he knew 35 to 45 minutes or 40 to 50 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes, whatever it was, after the Big Bang that Charlie was passed. So he wouldn't really have any problem there. I mean, and we just got a little problem on our hands here. I will say this operator certificate number is the Regency Air operator certificate. Again, that would not be proper for Paradise Jets to be producing that. It's a little interesting too, because if you look at the scheduled Santa Barbara departure time, it says 2:30. And they don't arrive in Provo until almost 5 o'clock. It's an hour and a half. It says it right here, flight time, an hour and a half, time zone change 1. So it's really 2.5 hours, but you take the time zone out, that's 1.5 hours. So is that what the FAA had as the flight times? Or did they butcher that too, trying to be too cute by half and not just getting the manifest and releasing that, but trying to release what appears, at least on its face, to be a fake itinerary? But let's look real quickly. I'll pull this up and we can all look together. Let me make it the big version here since we're just looking at one. I'll have to scroll down to it if I'm going to make it big. That's July. There's September. Here we go. September 8, September 8. Man, let me make it back small. I know how to read those. All right, here we go. This is the, This is the flight radar version of this. Santa Barbara to Provo was originally scheduled to take off at 1:30 local time, not 2:30 local time. And it was scheduled to land at 4:47. Well, if you look at this itinerary here, that says 2:30 local time, which makes sense, I guess, in the sense that he didn't leave until closer to 2:30. But the reality is, if you go back here, the flight plan was filed for 1:30. So I don't know why the itinerary would show something different than the flight plan. Is it evidence that it's fake? Yeah, I think it is. I mean, I think it is additional evidence it's fake. There's actually one more piece of evidence that this might not be real or was created recently. You got to really look down and trust me here. But if you pull this up on Twitter, you can see it. This copyright, this Google Map copyright, was from 2026. 2026 is this Google Map copyright. Well, this flight was in 2025. And if you go back and look at old Google Map data from September 25, the copyright's 2025, not 2026. And so that even is a little piece of evidence. But again, this right here, let me pull the certificate data back up for just a second. Where's the run? There it is. I think they might have had a typo on there. Anyway, this is a disaster for them. This is just an absolute disaster. Rather than just picking up the phone and calling Candace and saying, "Why are you telling people we had a tarmac hug? I never told you that." Rather than just coming out publicly and saying, "Why are you telling people we had a tarmac hug? I never told you that." And then seeing how Candace responds to that. I mean, if someone accused me of saying something I didn't say, am I going to go and find some gal who's a guest with Gary or some other gal who was a speaker at one of my events 2 years ago? And is that how I'm going to get the information out? She just happened to come across an itinerary. How do you think she came across the itinerary, guys? Someone sent it to her. And Andrew acted like he thought it was factual, which is hilarious to me. That is Andrew, in my opinion, looking at the bold print on the top of his legal pad, and it says, "Cannot admit flew earlier." Cannot admit flew earlier. So no matter what happens, he can't admit it. Because if he flew earlier, there's a high likelihood, in my opinion, that there was a plot to remove Charlie Kirk, and Andrew was aware of it. That's just clear evidence to me, in my opinion. So you gotta respect the red line. You can't retreat beyond the red line. You could go back to the red line and no further. But is that how I would disprove something? I would leak stuff to friggin' Gary? I would leak my alibi to Gary, proving that I was with my kids? That's how I would get it out? Really? Really? Gary? That's how I would get out my alibi? I would send a picture of my kids to Gary? Again, stay tuned on the picture. That's going to be debunked as well. That's not her kids, in my opinion. If I had to prove that Mitch Snow wasn't at Fort Huachuca, I would rely on some guy that gets like 900 people on a live. That's how I would get the information out. And I would just count on people finding it. What? That's how you would do it? Or would I take matters into my own hands? Would I release a statement on official TPUSA letterhead with my signature at the bottom? Would I read a statement on Twitter, a video? I was on this plane. I did not have a tarmac hug. Candace is not being honest. You go doing that stuff. You do it at your own risk, though. You know what I mean? Like right now, we can say, well, maybe he was saying something else was accurate. Maybe. But in my opinion of this manifest is this is a lie. This is a total lie. This is made up. It's fake. You've got a Regency Air chartered flight, chartered plane on a Paradise Jets itinerary. Now, I'm telling you right now, per Daisy, when you call them, they say that can't happen. They say it can't happen. They say the only way they could even remotely fly for somebody else is if you called a broker. Neither one of these people are brokers. Ask them both. Both of them said, no, we're not a broker. Lest you think we're out of our minds, I saw this after we had done all this research. I was perusing Twitter, and I saw this. Now, this is how you use AI to confirm, not to solely research. Grok, is it? This is, I don't know who this is. This was me making fun of this because Colin at Project Constitution says, I have to come clean, guys. Here's my flight itinerary. It was actually myself and Baron Coleman that were on the plane from Santa Barbara to Provo. And if you drill in, it says Project Constitution and Baron Coleman are on the itinerary. That's how easy these are to fake, by the way. And so I jokingly said this is factual because that is what Andrew said in response to it. And then somebody had a really good question. Grok, is it even possible to charter N872RA from Santa Barbara to Provo with Paradise Jets? And Grok says, no, it's not possible. N872RA is a 2008 Hawker Beechcraft 400A, registered to A&E Hawker LP, operated under Part 135 charter, by Regency Air. Paradise Jets owns and operates its own fleet from Scottsdale and does not manage or charter this aircraft. You'd book via Regency Air or a broker, not Paradise Jets. Admittedly, it was nice confirmation after we put the whole show together to read that Grok summarized it nicely. But the thing is, had we waited on Grok, had we waited to today to start putting this case together, we wouldn't have been able to confirm it because the Part 135 database weirdly was down today. Strangely. And they were aware of it and they're working to fix it. They're not sending their best, guys. They're not sending their best. In their attempt to debunk this stuff, to prove it, they're not sending their best. This is ludicrous. There's another element out there because the trolls are out. You know, I told you when you get close to something, they come out. And they're all coming out saying that what we're insinuating is an affair. We're claiming Andrew's playing hide the bone. We're not. We're not. I don't know that he's playing hide the bone, but that's not what I'm saying. The point of the hug is not whether they were having an affair. That's irrelevant to me. I don't care. The point of the hug is it puts him in a location where she was at the same time on an airport tarmac. That's the point of the hug. And we know from radio dispatch calls from the police and from Brian Harpole talking on podcasts that Erica Kirk was not on the tarmac when Andrew landed in Provo. So if there was a tarmac hug, it had to be somewhere else. There's only one other place it could have been. Scottsdale. Because there was a plane that flew from Santa Barbara to Scottsdale at a time before Erica Kirk had left to go to Provo. Interesting. That being the case, they very well had an opportunity. Had Andrew gotten on that earlier flight, he could have been on the ground in Scottsdale before Erica Kirk took off. And if they're in proximity, they can hug. That's the point, you sickos. It's not about insinuating they're having an affair. I don't care if they're having an affair. It's irrelevant to who killed Charlie Kirk, how, and why. Well, it might be relevant to the why, but it's not the why I'm trying to get to. And so we're left with one question. Did Candace Owens tell the truth? Did Andrew Kolvet tell her he embraced Erica on a tarmac and fell into her arms? If the answer to that question is yes, it was probably in Scottsdale. And if it was in Scottsdale, it was almost certainly in Scottsdale. And if it was in Scottsdale, then he left Santa Barbara less than 20 minutes after Charlie Kirk went down. And if he left Scottsdale less than 20 minutes after Charlie Kirk went down, he probably was on his way to the airport already. And if he was on his way to the airport already, you know what the answer is. If he was on his way to the airport already, he knew. In my opinion, he knew. Which is why they could never admit it. They're going to go all the way to the mat. They have no choice. They cannot admit he was on that plane. Ever. Ever. I don't care what evidence they have to manufacture. I don't care what things they have to Photoshop and fake. If you guys want to fake a manifest, I'll send you some blanks that you can use. But you guys have lost the right to be trusted with anything you put out. Not after this crap. Not after the Gary stuff. Not after the Mitch Snow stuff. You guys have lost the right to be trusted when you put documents out. You've lost the right. Everybody's born with this right to be believed. You forfeited it. You forfeited it. You sent Gary a picture of someone else's kids, in my opinion. And I think we'll find out pretty definitively that's true. In an attempt to say Erica was somewhere on September 9th. So you've lost the right. You lost the right when you gave us a passenger itinerary from Paradise Jets for a flight that was operated by Regency Air. You've lost the right. You've lost the right. So if you produce some sort of manifest, I'm going to probably assume it's fake. You should have released the fake manifest first. It would have been more bulletproof. Now, if you'd have needed a copy, call me, guys. Call me. They should pay me like $5 million a year to go work for them. I would have advised them day one. Boom, you hear the big bang. Day one. I would have gotten all the top executives in the room. The first person's caught lying or misleading anybody. You guys can shut your mouths. You can go grieve in a closet. You can go grieve overseas. I don't care. The very first person who gets caught fabricating something, suggesting something that didn't happen, getting caught saying on something on tape that's later proven not true, the very first person we're firing. The rest of you, we're firing and suing. Don't do it. I would have told Erica, you seem nice, but get the hell out of here. Go to French Polynesia for 6 months. Take your kids with you. Go to finishing school and try to learn how to be normal. Go watch some movies of people crying. Go watch Beaches with Bette Midler. Go learn how to be a normal human being, not some weird robot. And in 6 months or so, when this is all behind us, you clowns can go out there and start talking again, including you, Erica. You guys can start talking again. People will have moved on. No one's going to be talking about it. But if we send you guys out there and you start saying stupid stuff because you guys have been backed by the Republican machine that's covered for your idiocy, your youngness, your youth, your moronicism, if you guys go out there and you just be yourselves, we're cooked. We are cooked. We're cooked, guys, cooked. If we want any chance to salvage this organization, you can't wear the leather pants and come out to fireworks. You just can't. Sorry. Go to French Polynesia. Disappear for a little while. Everyone will understand. Your husband was just killed. Go be Jackie Kennedy. You have plenty of time to be rich and famous and soak it all up and get the limelight later. Let's get this investigation behind us, shall we? I know they all want to make their look. I mean, they're nothing. None of these people are anything without Charlie Kirk. They're certainly not rich. They don't live in mansions. I know that they were scared to death the gravy train was going to go away, and they had to start fundraising and soaking and selling hats and shirts and beach balls and whatever else they sold. I know that that was a real concern, right? You guys have all moved into multi-million-dollar houses in exotic locations. I get it. You were scared to death that this was all going to dry up and go away. And your fear led you to make some really stupid decisions, like talk, like be seen, be on camera. And this is where you guys are. This is what's happened to you. You guys are now in a position where you're leaking what appears to be, at least in my opinion, a fake itinerary on the wrong letterhead, where both companies, when called, say, yeah, that wouldn't happen. That's weird, guys. You're in this weird situation where you have to forward Gary text messages of someone else's kids, in my opinion, someone else's kids. That's tragic. That's tragic. It's just tragic. I could have prevented all this. Could have prevented it all. Any normal person could have prevented this. Anybody with like more than 2 years of experience could have prevented this. You know who I feel bad for? I feel bad for the actual employees at TPUSA who have never really committed crimes or done any weird stuff or what, just normal people that were like, hey, TPUSA's hiring. That sounds like a cool job. And they're like an accountant. They go in there and count beans all day, keep the books on merch sales, or I don't know what they do. Maybe answer the call center phones, pack up hats. I don't know what they do, but I feel bad for those people. Because they're being led by an organization that is absolutely scrambling to be seen as anything other than what it is. And that's no way to live, man. It's no way to live. Going to work every day. My guess is there are high-ranking TPUSA employees begging for this to get blown wide open. I know for a fact there's some because they're leaking information out. I get that. But I bet there's more than we know about. And they're scared. They're scared. It is what it is, though, guys. It is what it is. It's tragic. It's tragic that it comes to this. And again, my offer stands, Andrew. My offer stands. Stop this stuff. Stop getting stuff out through women who speak at your young women's leadership circuit, whatever it's called. Stop getting stuff out through podcasters that have 600 people on their live stream. Stop getting this stuff out through, women who are guests on podcasts that have 600 people on the live stream. Stop that. Stop that. Pick up the phone and call the people making the allegations if you want to refute it. I'll talk to you. I heard you guys got some guests in the other day. I saw some footage on X. You guys seem like you were perfectly nice with them. These are people you disagree with. You guys were friendly and nice and cutting up. And what do you think I'm going to yell at you? I'll be happy to issue any correction you guys have, anything at all. All you people on X and YouTube who are in the comments saying, you big liar, everything you say is fake. Just give me evidence. I will change my mind. I don't want to be known as the guy who gets it wrong. I will absolutely change my mind. 100% will change my mind. I'll be happy to change my mind, issue a correction, whatever. I just got to have evidence. I cannot have this. I cannot have this garbage, this passenger itinerary filtering down through Andrew's harem or whatever's going on over there. I don't know. I can't have it filtering through these people. I got to see original sources, Andrew. Original sources. All right, guys, don't forget to hit the like button, please. I only say it because when people say it to me, I'm like, oh, yeah, I haven't hit the like button. So I go hit the like button. Please hit the like button. It's the single best thing you can do to help this program. That doesn't cost anything. Just flat out, send it on. Hit the like button, subscribe if you have not already, share with a friend, and you will get bang for your buck as you get more of this down the road. Let's go through some of these comments. How can they believe these excuses, alibis are believable? Thank you so much for the show. I know y'all work hard. Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. I don't know how they can believe it. When will you have Candace on to be an in-studio guest? May I suggest your show 100 coming up? If she was an in-studio guest, like she would have to be right here. There's not a lot of studio in here. So if we did it, I would probably have to run it on my channel from her studio. I don't know if she'd want to do that or not. But that would be fun. Me interview her instead of her running a show and having me chime. That would be fun. That would be fun. I might ask her. I really want to interview George Farmer. Hello, Baron. Have you looked into Camera Lady in the red hat to Charlie's right? Yes. I know her name. I know where she lives. I know where she works. I know her past. What is it? What do we want to know about her? You're not old. You just have an old soul. You'll make an awesome granddad someday. I will make an awesome granddad. Partially because I have awesome kids. They'll make it easy. But thank you. Need to know what your family thinks of you being in all the various ad fleet videos. Is there a family favorite? God bless the Colemans. My son said the country one was a little weird for him. But that's just because it's so opposite of my personality. Like you would never catch me in a country band and wearing denim on denim with a cowboy hat. That's just not my style. I think the rap video went over pretty well. Yeah, I don't know. Fleet's great. Fleet's been great. A great addition to the team. Not my team, but just the team of people working. Can you please give my heartfelt thanks to your unnamed sources? Their service to this cause has not at all gone unappreciated by the rest of us. Prayers for all of them. Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. They're watching. Love your podcast. Hope you and your family got to watch the Grand Slam last night. We love the Braves too. We watched it live. It was amazing. I'll admit I'd kind of given up and thought they were going to lose. My kids called me back in when it was 1st and 3rd, 1 out. And I'd gone into my room for a little bit. And they were like, come on. And I walked out and just in time to see the walk. And then saw the hit off the pitcher's foot and got one home. And am I getting this out of order? But then saw the home run. I mean, it was just sheer jubilation. People in 2 counties over heard us cheering. It was great. I told my kids, I said, appreciate this. You don't see a walk-off grand slam very often. That is not something that happens very often. It was a great night. Great night. Thank you for that. Love the bad cop. I didn't even have to put the hat on, did I? I could have. But I didn't. But I felt a little bad copy at times. Oh, my hair's all crazy. It's all askew. Baronito. That's a little bitty baron. We're traveling to Paradise Valley, Arizona soon. Let us know if you need some stealthy spies to scout anything out. No. Obey all laws. I find it hard to believe EK got on a plane after the Big Bang without Stacey Sheridan. Also, have you seen the video about EK have a Flintstone relationship with North Carolina beauty pageant? Yeah, well, I've seen all those, yeah. I second the recommendation made last week to watch Hulu's Anniversary. Chilling message this high IQ crowd will love. Well, thank you. Angel Studios. My mom loves Angel Studios. Partnering with TPUSA. I might have to talk to her about this habit she has. It's getting out of control, Mom. Subscribers need to message Angel Studios to disengage with TPUSA. Go Max, Christ is King. Well, I mean, if they're just doing like a documentary or something, are they buying a piece of it? If they boarded planes before he was shot, it proves a plot. Or at least we're on their way to planes. How about that? He would have had to leave his house. He would have had to leave, I think, before Charlie was, the Big Bang, excuse me. What about the fact that his security had zero schedule for him after 9/10? We talked about that, despite Charlie having another event the following day. Yeah, we've covered that quite a bit. I finally did my taxes today. Ugh, I got to do that. I truly need a few laughs. I know you'll pull me through. I don't know. I wasn't real laughy today. Well, maybe a little. A little. Thanks, Gary. You provided some levity. Christ is king indeed. IRS, not so much. No, IRS is not king. Could the judge, whom I believe is very fair, what makes you believe that, put TR in witness protection to keep him safe if the judge doesn't buy any of this, either then drop the hammer on the right parties? I don't know. No, he can't put, I don't think, maybe. I don't think you can put someone in protective custody waiting trial, maybe. I don't think so. And I don't know that a state judge can put someone in witness protection. I think you're, I don't know. Is there a state of Utah witness protection program? And that's usually a federal program we think of. And why are you yelling at me? I'm so happy to have found your channel. Well, I'm so happy to have found that you found my channel and to have found your comment, JC. You and Candace are now the only staples in our household. Would love it if you could tell our daughters, Corbin, Eleanor, and Evelyn, to let mom watch her show in peace. No. I don't want you to watch it in peace. I want you to watch it as a family. It's a family show. We don't use ugly words here. And thank you for that generosity. Thank you very much for that. Baron giving a reason to not debate because he knows he would get absolutely destroyed by Andrew Wilson. No, I don't think so. I really don't think I would. What I'm saying is, what are we going to debate? Like, I will debate him, but we got to limit it to he is trying to make the case that Tyler Robinson killed him. That's the burden is on the movement who is stating something. The burden is not on the defense to prove anything. So what is it I'm trying to prove? I can't prove he didn't take the shot because I don't know where he was. I don't have the evidence. We have a charging document with a limited amount of evidence in it. Short of that, I mean, I don't understand what a debate is right now. I'll be happy to talk to him. I'll have a conversation. But a whole like, I'll debate you and we'll talk. No. I mean, unless you want to try to prove Tyler did it and let me just sit there and poke holes in the evidence. But that's what I do every day. Like, I sit around and poke holes in the evidence. It's the nature of the show. Will you ever do an opening statement about Michael Jackson? I know it's been almost 17 years of his untimely death. I think he was innocent. God is king, I assume is what you meant. Indeed. Candace did a good show on Michael Jackson, I thought. I remember where I was. I was living in Delray Beach, Florida. I was working in Boca Raton. I was pulling out of the shopping center, the public shopping center right there, getting ready to turn left at a light on Military Trail. I mean, I remember precisely where I was. And I was listening to the radio, and at the news break, I think they may have even broken into the news like in the middle of the hour and announced he had passed. And I mean, I was shocked. Like, I was like, what? How? It was just so shocking. I was a big Michael Jackson, still am a big Michael Jackson fan. I love his music. I was shocked. Solving 2 cases, murder and attempted murder of TR. I don't think Tyler Robinson was intended to stay alive. As I've said this before, but I'll say it again since you brought it up. I think he was intended to die, run, or be seen as running or fighting or resisting and killed. And the neighbor learned of the fact that he was going to be picked up and thought, ooh, we need to make sure we do this on our terms. I initially thought that neighbor sheriff's deputy might be a bad guy, but I'm not so sure anymore because he kept him alive. Baron, love your show. I've been watching you since Google searched TR's attorney before the shooting. Why are you so hopeful with defense since it's clearly all a setup? We've not seen the defense really in action yet. I mean, let's just give them a chance. Let's see how they do. I'll admit it's a little weird that allegedly one of the attorneys is a cousin of Terrell Farnsworth. That's like right out of the gate. That's really weird. I mean, really, really weird. But we'll see how it goes. Drives me crazy that people say TR is guilty because his parents are not doing anything on his behalf. In your experience, is that strange that TR's family members haven't come forward to defend him? Not strange at all. In fact, if I'm their lawyer, I would tell them, shut the hell up. Don't say a word. We're going to defend this in court. You're not going to help anything by going out there and getting everybody all stirred up. So I don't find it remotely strange at all. Not even remotely. I also don't find it remotely strange that they turned him in. If a sheriff's deputy, a retired sheriff's deputy that's a dear friend of my family comes to me and says, your son has been accused of a crime and they're coming to get him, I would also go turn him in on my terms to make sure he's safe. I would go turn him in on my terms to make sure he's safe. Because I don't want to take a risk of something going wrong on the exchange. So I don't blame them for that even. Love your show. Episode 29 opening statement is worth a rewatch. I don't know the shows by number. What was it? Let me look it up. YouTube. Baron Coleman, episode 29. What do we got? What do we got here? What was the opening statement about? I don't remember. Gosh, you tell me it's worth a rewatch. I gotta at least know. Why wouldn't you tell me the topic? Oh, that was a fun one. I got to indulge my fiction a little bit. That was fun. That was The Magician. That was a really fun one. Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you. That is worth a rewatch. Happy Palm Sunday, Baron. Happy Palm Sunday to you. I actually have an image, not from Jerusalem, because they weren't allowed to have Palm Sunday. But I have a photo of the beginning of our Palm Sunday last night that I captured. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see if I can find it here. There, I don't know where it is. There it is. This was our Palm Sunday. Look at all those people out there. We had a good time. It was a beautiful service. They did a really good job with it. That was yesterday afternoon. We went to Palm Saturday. I had a lot of fun though. Went out to eat with my my wife, and I took one of our kids out to eat last night afterwards. It was great. It was a great time. Had a really, 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 really good time. Thanks for always being on live. Oh, always. You and Candace do a great job. Brian and I look forward to all y'all's shows. Brian, you sound brilliant, brother. You sound brilliant too, Rose. There's no knock at you. Keeping y'all covered in prayers. Thank you. We need them. Christ is King indeed. Thank you. All this reminds me of Jeffrey Dahmer case, who just as twisted as all the names coming out. Yeah, his case was weird. Way weirder than the other guy's case. He just didn't do the profession of innocence thing. It's quite as well. Don't you feel like God is helping the case in some way? Does anybody else feel that way? Enjoy this beautiful day. I think you're assuming it's a beautiful day everywhere. Do I feel like God is helping the case? I mean, I feel like God is a God of justice. But I mean, sometimes people are wrongfully convicted. So, did he abandon them? That's always a tough thing. It's like when a 6-year-old girl gets cancer, you're like, what? How? So it's always tough trying to guess motivations there. Poor Gary blocked me on X. I have 78 followers. So I told him he's a mouthpiece for TPUSA, trying to get on the stage at America Fest this year. He didn't like that much. I wouldn't either. If I was Gary. Can you show me where Gary ever says Mitch Snow was at Fort Huachuca? You can't. Gary was always of the opinion Mitch was probably there. Well, he said the police report was fake. I don't know. I'll go back and look. Duly noted. Look, if I'm wrong on that, I'll be happy to correct it. Baron's Goat. I agree. No, I'm just kidding. Totally kidding. Totally. Did you see the Jesse Ventura interview with Pierce Morgan? Ventura said he thinks Trump faked his ear injury with a razor blade like pro wrestlers do for dramatic effect, drawing blood without long-term harm. What say you? I really don't know if he faked it or not. I'm not prepared to weigh in on that. Baron, I never miss an episode. How did I miss you getting your YouTube plaque? Did you ever mention it? At what number did you receive it? Also, how many high IQ members do we have now? Christ is King. I don't remember when it was. It would have been before. In December, maybe January. I really don't remember. I don't remember. How many high IQ members now? I think 249-ish, maybe. Oh, we ought to hit the 250 mark here soon. That'll be cause celeb. Yeah, we're almost to 250. We're 358 members short of 250,000. If you guys want to get active, now's the time. We could hit 250 by the end of the show. We'll go like this. Woo! We'll have a good time with it. Christ is King indeed. Gary's using the famous Brer Rabbit technique. Yes, he is. No, he's been helpful. I don't want to knock the guy. He's been very helpful. I'll pay money to see you take Gary in a debate. Zach is too passive. Keep pushing forward, Baron. Jesus loves you. Again, what are we going to debate? I mean, if he wants to debate the charging document and let me go through what's publicly known, that would stand in opposition to it, then we could talk about it. But if we're going to just sit here and say, no, that evidence doesn't exist. Yeah, it does. No, it doesn't. Yeah, it does. That's not a good debate to me. That's not fun. Gary will single-handedly get Tyler acquitted. If he stays on the air, he might. Your opening statement is great. My daughter was killed in 22. Shot her and turned the gun on me. I fought for mine and the lives of 2 granddaughters. No provocation of this. He was charming, a Bundy in the making. Wow. Hope he was held accountable for that. Gosh, I'm so sorry you dealt with that. I hope you're doing okay. I mean, it's tragic having a gun held at you. I hope your toe box is roomy and the perfect temperature today, Baron. Keep going, Max. Gary. Yeah, Gary's going Max. I don't have a toe box on right now. Barefooted. But thank you. I was earlier. I had my wide toe boots on. Mrs. Robinson was the song playing on my local radio station immediately before they came on and made the announcement about Charlie being shot. The next day, Tyler Robinson was announced. Lyrics read like a script. Well, that's an interesting set of coincidences there. I doubt they planned that out with your local radio station. I've never heard a 70-year-old grown man saying horse so calmly so many times. I think that is going to be my new insult on X. Thanks, Pops. Hope Malk on me. All right. Yeah, the old man has trouble with a little milk. That's all right. It's pretty normal. Thank you, Blue. Blue Cheer's back. I hadn't seen you in a long time, Blue Cheer. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well, Blue Cheer. But Baron, your commentary of Gary's contributions make me cry laugh. Love your work. Keep going, Max. Doing my best out here. Baron, I know you're not receiving emails. I did send one before I found out. It is an event of Charlie back in March of last year where he got electrocuted by his mic. It's in Tennessee with a young girl at the 3-minute 17 mark. A test run, perhaps. Interesting. I will look for that. I'd like to see that, actually. I'd be interested to see, was there any feedback or anything beforehand? Like, and what was the setup like? What did it look like? Let me see if I can find it. I can't find it on the electrocution. What date did you say? March? I'm going to get a lot of March. Yeah, I'll have to look for that. That would interest me. If you want to resend it and put electrocution March or something in there that I'll be able to find it pretty easily, I'll be happy to look at it. Make sure you're sending it only to realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. None of these other emails that pop up. Thank you for that, by the way. My coworker's daughters was one of Ted Bundy's Utah victims. Her name was Deborah Kent. Absolutely destroyed their entire family. I can only imagine. You know, people that kill, they do such harm, not just to the victim, but just, I mean, it's just a destruction of societal norms that we don't recover from. You laughing at you made me laugh at both of you. Yeah, I kind of cracked myself up there a little bit. My wife hates it when I do that, by the way. Like if someone asks me to re-listen to something, I listen to it and I start laughing. She's like, you can't laugh at yourself. I'm like, comedians do it all the time. Dave Chappelle cracks himself up. If Dave Chappelle can do it, your humble host can do it. EK lawyer definitively said not for Huachuca on September 8-9 per second cease and desist letter. Yeah, I referenced that today. Thoughts on formal. That's you realize how easily she could say, I didn't tell him to say that. He must have just been reading the public stuff. And he can't refute that. I would love to hear her say it. Baron, unrelated. Please settle a debate. Longhorns or Sooners? And no need to explain yourself. The decentralized intelligence agency is high IQ outfit. I really don't have a dog in that fight. I don't really care. I don't care. I wish you both well. King Baron. I haven't heard any more on the donor lady that sent those disturbing texts to CK after he had Tucker on his event. Has anyone investigated her and who she's linked to? Yes. You've got them on these lies. They're cooked. I have investigated her. Daisy spent some time looking into her as well. Oh gosh, that's hilarious. Sorry, got a behind the scenes text there. Yeah, we've looked into her, but I mean, what do you want to say? She's kook, right? I've been watching you much longer than the 2 months before the Charlie Kirk investigation with the Google Trends. Utmost respect for all you do. Seriously. You've been around a long time. It was like you and my mom and my dad, sometimes my family, my immediate family. So far, 44 minutes. This has been a review of exactly why you absolutely must push lawsuits when they over slander. Both sides can talk, sure, but only one side has the truth. Here's the problem with that, man. Once someone's a public figure, it's very hard for the public figure to sue for defamation. Very hard. We shan't exploit, for entertainment purposes, our younger jury members' youth, ignorance, and inexperience. Or shall we? Nice Ronald Reagan reference. I got it. And we shan't. I'd be curious to know if the TPUSA people had made travel arrangements for the days or weeks after Charlie's death. It'd be weird if they did not have any scheduled meetings or events. I don't believe Brian Harpole had. I know that. I don't believe he had. Inside sources tell me he did not have flights booked. Now that could be wrong. I mean, I'm just telling you that was a mostly good tip, I think, but I can't state definitively he did not. But I don't know about the rest of them. Imagine how sad and bleak one's life must be having grown up without legendary Vans slip-ons. Suede, elite, correct. Gray and gum, timeless, don't change your style. We finally have someone here with a modicum of class. If only the whole grand jury could be that way. The itinerary just said depart 2:30 p.m. Then off to the right side, it says 1:30 p.m. Looks like they forgot to Photoshop or edit that one. Knew Donna wasn't going to take kindly to the gallivanting comment. 1, that's not her style. 2, her work ethic is very impressive. Harvey, to say the least. And she looks darn good doing it. Face like an angel. Body like a something. A cylinder? I don't know. That's a compliment. What is that? Oh, an hourglass? Oh. Miss your face. Donna, he's smitten. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what he did. I wish one of you would tell me what happened. You guys keep going back and forth, but neither one of y'all are willing to spill the goods. Inquiring minds want to know, Harvey. Donna. What if Aubrey, Andrew's assistant who was fired, was let go to discredit her because she can verify which plane and time AC flew on? I wonder if she knows more than she realizes. That'd be a good question. I know that Marina Minas thought he was on a plane before 2:05 Utah time. Today's hoodie color, booger green. I see why they call you James the Least. I've got a Daisy, you've got a Gary. Oh. Yeah, I got the upper hand on that one. Now you'd accuse the plumber of not knowing how to pull up his pants. A definite defamation lawsuit. Happy Palm Sunday, Baron, from a cradle Catholic to a better Catholic than me. Don't be so sure of that. You might be better than you think. I wish you'd interview that lady at Turek's last talk who was in the audience on, I'm assuming you mean 910. She never said it, but he went off about no shots coming from protesters. I didn't even know there were protesters. I think what she was saying, if I recall correctly, I haven't played this video, but if I recall correctly, she was saying she thought there were protesters that in the later footage, they looked like they'd been edited out and there was just empty grass. I don't know if that's true or not. Absolute fools thinking they can outsmart you. I love this show and proud to be part of this outfit. Well, thank you. Hit the like. Don't forget the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Are we closer to 250? We're getting there. Now we're only 317 people away. I don't remember what we were before, but thank you for those of you who got your rear ends in gear to try to push us over the 250 mark. Blue Cheer's back. She's gone for weeks and then comes, I'm assuming it's a she, and then comes back. Could be a he. Help. Tired of making the same dinners over again. What are your big families go-to dinners, your diet and kids? I don't know if they're different. Snacks, thank you. So I really like, my wife makes this coconut chicken curry that's really good. I love it. What did I eat today? Oh, she made a pork tenderloin with broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and asparagus and rice. It was excellent. I had some crawfish pasta today. It's a gluten-free pasta. I did it over rice, not pasta. There's it's like a red sauce simmered down with crawfish tails in it. What else? We make a lot of burgers, a lot of steaks. Mahi. I don't know, man. We do a lot of food. What else do we do? What's a go-to? Oh, she does those chicken thighs. I've given you sort of the recipe before, but when I gave you the recipe before, she kind of got on to me and said, you forgot the red wine vinegar splash at the end. I was like, you're right. But she takes the chicken thighs, they're boneless chicken thighs, and she fries them in a pan in olive oil and then pan sautés them and then puts like onion powder, garlic powder, chipotle powder, salt, pepper, maybe a couple other things. And then right at the end, she hits him with like a splash around the pan of red, like deglazes the pan with red wine vinegar, and then kind of tosses him in that mixture, and then pulls him out, and then that whatever that slurry is, like condenses on. Oh, they're so good, so good. Mrs. Coleman's a good cook. Oh, I can smell a long-awaited Candace show coming tomorrow. I think our patients are about to pay off, friends. Love you so much, Baron. God's work. Thank you. Thank you. Love you more. Love you more. She's also has a thing about words and how they're used. Oh, you're talking about Donna. Oh, Harvey. I didn't know that was you at first. I saw the eyeball staring at me. At what point will Andrew or anyone else who's not able to provide alibis be brought in for questioning? When is it time for the FBI to step in here? I think the FBI has done their share. They're out. They're out. Baron, any chance the guy doing the selfie right after the Big Bang was a way of signaling AK's plane it was time to take off without having to make a traceable phone call? Timing work, crisis. I doubt it. Crisis King indeed, but thank you. Wow, most excellent work. Jesus Christ is King indeed. Hello, Baron. Blessed Palm Sunday to you and yours. Absolutely love your podcast. Learning so much. AK and TPUSA can fool some of the people some of the time, but not all of the people all the time. Oh my gosh. Are you serious? They spelled Caitlin wrong on the itinerary. That's funny. That's funny. That is funny. That's great. Apparently it's spelled with an I at the end, not a Y. Please see Nick Shirley's YouTube in days after CK. Pay attention to body language and stories. CEO should double check the times he shared with her. You can file in 3 different states. LOL. Dare I say I enjoy you more than Candace? Shh. The principal could be listening. Is that blasphemous? Not blasphemous, but come on. You're trying to get me in trouble? Keep going, Crisis King. Crisis King, indeed. No, you're free to have your opinion. Gary Melton, hereafter referred to as Joe. Baron, love the Baron loses his marbles. I didn't lose my marbles today. Well, I kind of did on the old show that I played. Found the pic of House Habit in Free Ghislaine t-shirt. Exactly. That's who they're relying on right now, guys. Great opening statement. Now do the 2 bank robbers that brought up the Dunning-Kruger effect into existence and compared to AK and EK. They think we're the dumb ones. Yeah, that was funny. The guy that put lemon juice on his face and thought the camera couldn't see him. Big fan. I've made songs about you, Coach, and Candace. I do political rants. I'm the most humble man alive. Don't like to talk about it, though, obviously. I know you're busy, but if you get a chance, please. Thank you, Undebunked. You know who wrote in the Bible he was the most humble man who ever lived? Moses. Moses wrote in the Bible that Moses was the most humble man who ever lived. Moses. Her name is spelt incorrectly on the itinerary, I believe. It's supposed to be Caitlin Nowat. Yeah, you just got that. Good call. Apparently they figured that out over on the other show. Glazing Gary is peak high IQ Baron. Yes, indeed. Happy Holy Week to Baron and company. Magnificent mods. Coleman and Chat Fan. It's a great team. We've got a great team here on the production side, the research side. No, production side just me. I don't want to say that, but on the research side, on the chat, the moderators, the people who come in and chat, it's just a lot of fun. It's a great community. Keep cooking with grease, great sir. The way I squealed when you called out House and Habit. Chef's kiss. Hi, Jessica. We know you're watching. She should be. Baron, the husband of Paradise Jets looks like the pilot Jamie you showed from LinkedIn. It is the pilot Jamie I showed from LinkedIn. Same guy. You're good. That's him. Her name is Cynthia Thomas. He's Jamie Thomas. Good catch. In Project Constitution lawsuit, Erica's attorney stated on the record she and Andrew not at or near Fort Huachuca. Did he say Andrew and not in Utah until after September 10th? Well, that's not true. They were both there on September 10th. I don't know that he mentioned Andrew there, but yeah, we've already talked about that. I'd like to hear her say it. Baron uses hush please button. What can I do? What can I do? Mark said everything that touches a blade of grass out there. A robin will go walking by and you'll hear that. It feels so, that's funny that happened while I was reading this comment. It feels so hopeless to be an American right now. What can one do? We used to be the heroic good guys nation. Now we're just a big bully in the play yard. Now, this is where we got to kind of rethink our history. I'm not so sure that that's factual. I mean, I think there was a time when we were better, perhaps, than we are now to our international neighbors. If our justice system worked the way it was supposed to, none of this would not be happening. Double negative there. But it's intentionally broken. It's just a show. Well, it's certainly not ideal. Let's say that. If you recall, about a month ago, you liked 2 of my posts where I reminded Gary of all his slip-ups. Well, Baron, he ended up blocking me over that. I have under 100 followers on X. Yeah. I get that. I block a lot of people with under 100 followers. Here's the only time I block people is if they come in calling names or super ugly. If they just want to talk and like, hey, have you considered, like the guy that's made a couple comments here today, have you considered this? Have you considered that? Happy to talk to people who are raising good points. Again, we're trying to be right here. Beautiful work, Gary. Second only to Queen C, King B, and Daisy. P.S. I don't believe CK had death blueprints because of his reaction on air if I died. Yeah. Baron, will you go to the trial, intervene, and defend Tyler during the trial? Is your license up to date? I can't practice in Utah. I'm not licensed in Utah, and that would be totally inappropriate, even if I was. That's just not something that can happen. Edge, Baron, sir, Tilly has a right to her opinion of Gary and Andrew too. I don't know if you guys can hear this. It's happening again. She's crazy. I don't know if you can hear it. It's going crazy. I don't know. I mean, she's still growling. This is crazy that every time you guys bring it. This goes back to when she got on air. No need to silence our baby girl. This goes back to when she got on air and spent 3 days every time she saw me saying, Granddad, you know I'm famous. That's what this is about. She hears you talking about her. She's probably watching in there. She sees the comments come up and she goes crazy. She's like, look, they're talking about me. I'm famous. You and Daisy do fantastic work. Amazing. This is what happens when people lie. God bless. Thank you. House and Habit had it out for Candace because Candace didn't fall for JRK's dirty tactics to attack her best friend. I think Daisy counted 18 anti-Candace tweets the last 3 days. That's crazy. That's obsessive. That's dangerous. That's dangerous. Like that's borderline mental problem stage. Maybe Gary's sending a Morse code with his blanks. He could. This Lisa is such a Joe, it hurts. Yeah. Amateur hour versus high IQ outfit. Come on, Gary. He needs to step up his game. Members where you talk about SIG parts of the Bible. SIG parts of the Bible. Raised Catholic, no longer attend Mass, feel like something is missing. Maybe knowing the Bible will fill the gap. Tried different versions, just can't understand. Maybe just dumb. I mean, look, I'll recommend this one. It's been really good. This Ignatius Catholic Study New Testament. It has really cool notes. And, please. I got one thing to show you here. This, in my opinion, is the most gangster commentary of all time. This is the Navarre Bible. It's got commentaries. So this is John. This is like John up here, this little 4 lines, and then you get all this commentary below it. It's the whole book of John. And we have one for every book of the Bible. And so it's not cheap buying it all, but you can start with a few and just sort of, I don't know. I doubt you're dumb. You're watching this program. You're not dumb. I'm just over here clapping aloud by myself while you continue to reveal their low IQ. Good work, Baron and Daisy. Thank you. Thank you. Baron, can I see Tilly, please? No, not right now. I have shown her, though, multiple times on the screen. If I knew where, I'd go pull it up, but I don't remember. She just looks like a dog. Looks like a dog. Obviously a very loud one. Tupac's All Eyes on Me, my new intro for you and Candace. You got all these fools watching and waiting like a chicken about to be Sunday dinner. Boots to neck, man. Love to see it. Yeah. Thank you. This week you're huge beyond the Balkans. Thanks for the show from Moldova. Man, I wish I was Ian and could point to Moldova on a map. Let me see here. Moldova. Where is Moldova? On a map. Where is Moldova? Oh, okay. I know where you are. You're over there by Ukraine, between Ukraine and Romania. Is there a Moldovan Angels? Hold on. I might have to bring her in here just to hush her up. I don't know what's going on out there. These blatant lies make me sick. It's just a dark cesspool of tarry sludge. That was really descriptive. Well done. Well done, Sarah. You should write more. How do these horrible people find each other? That's a great question. Thanks for shining light, B. I think this is a great. I want to expand on this just a second. In my opinion, we totally discount the realm of the demonic. And these demonic things, I always used to like, before I really bought into the whole demonic influence being as powerful as it is, I used to always think, this can't possibly be a plan because no human being could sit down and write this up. How could they control all these people? Maybe it's not a person. Maybe it's somebody who has perfect knowledge of everything going on in the world and can influence the people they have control of. Tilly barking to the world. She doesn't believe their nonsense either. She doesn't, apparently. What if Tarmac Hug, SR show statements, etc. are lies? I mean, maybe. Why would he have told Candace he had a Tarmac Hug? Like, I tend to believe her because why else would she have, why would she make that up? Of all the things she could make up, she had no idea about the flight timings and all that. She was just relaying a conversation he had. Why would she make that up, of all things? I've been watching since December, but just joined as a member. That rhymes. You should write as well. Catholic homeschooling mom of 6. 8-month-old is named Tallulah. Tallulah. Who was the famous woman named Tallulah? Hold on. She had a cool story. Tallulah Bankhead. Is she named after Tallulah Bankhead? She was a salty bird. There's some great Tallulah Bankhead stories. Nickname Tilly. The Tilly bark button makes me giggle every time. Thank you for your sincere work. Hey, I'm glad you guys get to see me yell, Tilly! Tallulah. And then there was the girl who was named Tallulah does the hula from Hawaii. That's a real story, by the way. Look it up. I'm not making it up. And I think the judge was like, nah, you can't do that to a kid. That's just not right. Not right. I hope that's not you. The brainchild of this assassination was not counting on a top-notch attorney and a Perita bulldog, not giving up and turning every stone. TPUSA goose may be almost cooked to well done. What's a Perita? Oh, little dog. Oh, a tiny little bulldog. Yeah, she's kind of tiny. Actually, the first time I met her, I was shocked at how small she was. Like, I'm not making fun of her. She's tiny. She's a little thing. I was expecting her to be larger. Like, you know, her personality is so robust. I was expecting her to be ready to fight. If TR's defense isn't there to frame him, would they have any ability to subpoena communications or travel records to show possible conspiracy? Otherwise, I don't think we can get anyone to look. I think they could get him. I mean, the discovery standard, at least in most states, is reasonably likely to lead to the discovery of admissible evidence. I think they could get that. Maybe no children. Look at her. Oh, that was ugly. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said that. I feel bad now. I got caught up in the moment. My apologies, lady. You're beautiful. Very lovely. Stunning. Hi, B. Rupees. Oh, I didn't know what that was. It looked like a tornado. A few episodes, you said you knew a lot of people. None worked to fight human transport. I do. Nice to meet you. I feel guilty sending $34, $3 for an Uber and 30-cent Metro. 10,000 would cover a lot for us. I'll call EK to see if she wants to donate. Yeah, it'd be interesting. I'm curious where all their money goes. Like, I've really started thinking about that. They're raising what, $90 million a year pre Charlie Kirk's death. My guess is more than $250 million or more now. Maybe $500 million. I don't know what they're raising. They've got all these campus chapters giving them money. They got all these high schools now giving them money. What are they spending it on? Like, where's that money going? They're not allowed to work in politics under the 501c3. Why do you need that much money? What are you doing with it? I mean, I know you're flying a plane that's $10,000 or $15,000 an hour. I get that. I've looked at the flight plans. You fly it all the time. I'm assuming TPUSA is paying for it most of the time. So that could be in the millions of dollars a year in private planes. And there are multiple planes, 3, 4, 5 different planes flying all over the place. So, you could be in the maybe $10 million a year in planes. I don't know. But that leaves like $100 million, $200, $300 million. What are you doing with it? Where's it going? I'm always curious about that. Absolutely love your show. This is a thank you to both you and Daisy. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, hold on. Wrong one. Candace talked about the hug way before any of this was an issue. That's what I'm saying. Why would she have made that up all the way back then? That doesn't make sense to me. Awesome episode. Thank you. Adidas Sambas are the OG 80s and 90s black gum shoe. I remember those. Yeah. The soccer players all wore them. Wide enough for my caveman feet. Classic enough for mass. Stylish enough to the cool kids are wearing them. Are they wide enough for caveman feet? You have small caveman feet? Adidas Sambas. Let me look at the sole of a Samba here. Yeah. You know who's wearing a Samba the other day was my my daughter. And I was like, man, those are great shoes. She was like, thanks, you bought them. I don't know. Oh, yep. Gotcha. One of my favorite episodes yet. Lies exposed so blatantly. Sloppiest cover up yet. Everyone slip on your fancy Vans. We're celebrating tonight. Yes. Break out the suede Vans, people. Only your best under $60 shoes will do tonight. The speaking that girl did for women empowerment or something is in the files. Her husband told her name was in there. Weird. He looked her up. Huh? Really? I have to double check what you're saying. I think I know what you're saying. By the way, we both love the show, and I humbly thank you for allowing our story to unfold here. Very appreciative. Show tonight is fire. Go Max. Go Max, Harvey. Donna. Balls in your court, girl. Nick Shirley said he was on the show a few hours before, then corrected to 1 hour. If he pre-recorded day of, Candace cleared him on logistics, but times could be off. Watch his YouTube day after. I'll check it out. It sounds interesting to me. Gary and her are on now talking about this. Interested to see if they come to the same conclusion. It looked pretty obvious to me when I looked at it. Appreciate all your excellent research. Justice for Charlie. Oh, well, thank Gary. Don't believe anything Erica, Lord of the Rings, has to say. Yeah, the jewelry says so. That the jewelry's a thing. I have an opinion on that, but I'm not going to give it. Driving through Nashville right now. Hi. Did we ever find out more about why EK and CK sold their mansion and were living in an apartment? Hope you have a lovely week. No. I will say it's $1 million condo. I know where it is. And as far as condos go, it's really cool, but no. They did not. We don't know more about it. I mean, we can guess, and I have, but we don't know for sure. Enjoy hearing your opinion. This is a scary group of people. Why not be honest? It flew into Scottsdale before Provo, saying it was playing for work. I don't know why he would have flown into Scottsdale. Like, that part never made sense to me. Why would she go to the airport ahead of time? That never made sense to me either. Just, guys, if you're going to pull off the crime of the century, pull it off. Like, stay seated at your desk. You know you're going to get the call. Get the call. Scramble around to find a plane. Get on the plane. Fly to Provo and be like, whoa, what's going on, guys? There didn't have to be a tarmac hug. No need for a tarmac hug. None. Just act cool, guys. Act cool. Act like we didn't know. That's the part I never understood. Again, they should have hired me years ago. Could have solved all these problems. Haven't missed an episode and always hit the like. Thank you. Everyone needs to hit the like button. Been watching on my TV instead of cell lately, so haven't commented or donated in a while. Sorry. Just wanted to give a little something in support to say thanks. I'm still here. You're the best. Go Max. Thank you, Kay, not Katy Perry. Not that Katy Perry. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I always worry when people disappear. Andrew fell into Erica's arms in relief, not sadness. Well, we don't know. Even if it's EK's finger and if it's their kids, the pic doesn't put her with the kids, so no, still not an alibi. Possible Cabot's kids and his wife's finger. I don't know about that. I don't know what his kids look like. I know what hers look like. Awesome show as usual. I would like the record to reflect that I said he's involved since he spoke at the Pyrotechnic Festival. AK and SS gave me extreme ick since that moment. Who's SS? I don't know who SS is. SS. Stacey Sheridan. Yeah. Hey, Baron, I got blocked by Gary because I kept referring to his comedy gold moments on his posts in X. Oh, great. I'm probably blocked now. And I also kept referring to his podcast name as Paramount. I would have blocked you too for that. Although it's kind of funny. Love your work. From New Zealand. The New Zealanders checking in, guys. Huge in New Zealand. The little forgotten island that sometimes gets left off of maps over there on that side of Australia. That's New Zealand. What about AK's slip up to Megyn Kelly? They're all processing their guilt instead of grief. They tell them themselves. They do, don't they? Did my first super the other night, but I couldn't get here until sign off. Ugh. Keep being you, B. I'll do better. You better, Emma. We're counting on you. Don't let us down. Be practical, Gary. Put the don't share at the top of your comms. Yeah, if you're talking to Gary, you better get up right out front. Be like, hey, don't put this on your live stream. It's like TPUSA upper management is in a parallel universe, defending accusations that weren't made, arguing the wrong points. Could they be this stupid? Well, yeah. I was trying to think of a nice way to say it, but yeah. Baron, you're on fire today. I can't express how grateful I am for people like you and Coach and Candace and Ian, etc. Holy Week has begun. Yeah, we're inside of 7 days to Easter, guys. Inside of 7 days. Your response to Donna that the dream job is a trucker reminded me about the song Speedball Tucker from Jim Croce. My man, my favorite guy. One of my faves by Croce, who's my favorite musicians, and yours, if I remember right. You do. You know, 95 is the route he was on. It was not the speed limit sign. You know, I don't do karaoke very often. I can't sing. But I did karaoke one night to Car Wash Blues, if you know that song. Steadily depressing, low down mindless, and working at the Car Wash Blues. And I thought I killed it. And my friend Clay told me I, in fact, did not kill it and that it was hard to listen to. It's all right. So he got up and did some Journey song and just smoked it. What song did he do? 25 or 6 to 4. Smoked it. Just smoked it. AK, you insult my Daisy, my jury, and your humble host. We deserve a high IQ psyop. Now, apologize to my community. P.S. AK, we're still praying for you. We are. Probably more today now than ever. Now that I know they're doing this thing. Pilot friends, Cynthia, TPUSA are 100% tied together tightly for a very long time. Isn't that convenient? Then that's what worries me about even if a manifest comes out. Now, okay, so they just go back and change an old manifest and release it. I'm supposed to buy that now after you pulled this stunt? Come on. Don't worry. We're talking to someone at the FAA. We'll get to the bottom of this. We'll get to the bottom of it. I mean, look, the FAA needs to know if people are producing fake itineraries using certificate numbers. They could get their certificates pulled for that. If Paradise Jets, I keep saying Paradise Charters. That's who I used to dive with in Key Largo. If Paradise Jets is, that's a long time ago. If Paradise Jets is producing fake documentation, if they were the ones who produced that, I think they could lose. I mean, that could be a real problem. And if they produced a fake manifest and released it, woo, Nelly. Talk about problems. They probably know better than that, though. And they probably assume we've been talking to someone at the FAA. I would think they would know that. I mean, we're not a low IQ outfit. So I would hope they'd be smarter than that, but we'll see. We'll see. So good. Such a high IQ outfit band. I thank you for your comment. Please make a hide the bone t-shirt. I shouldn't have said that either. Oh gosh. I'm going to get in so much trouble. I can't believe I said it either. All right, but that's funny. That's funny. High IQ outfit hats for your most humble fans. That's a good idea. HIQO fan hats. That'd be good. I watch while working, but you're going to get me in trouble. I can't keep LOL while I'm walking to the hospital. Keep up the high IQ investigation. Your sense of humor is one of a kind. Well, thank you. Broken one mulation. Be safe in the hospital, brother. You got lives to save in there. I hate the TPUSA liars from cross-checking with 3 different AIs unanimously. It says it's completely possible Paradise Jets brokered this flight. They're not a broker. That's not true. That's absolutely not true. We called them today and asked. They are not a broker. They could not have brokered the flight. They may not know. I mean, your AIs may not know that, but that's what I'm saying. You cannot rely on AI. You have to do your own investigating. You have to pick up the phone. You have to fly places. You have to call people. You have to drive places. You have to pull laws. You have to look at the code. You have to get on the FAA website. Like, you can't just rely on AI. It doesn't know. I didn't have wind beneath my wings on my bingo card for today. Keep up the amazing work and keep pushing for the truth. I believe justice will prevail. Happy Holy Week. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. What a great movie that was, by the way. I'll admit it. I like a good chick flick every now and then. That was a great movie. Men, don't be afraid to admit it. You cried at The Notebook. I know you did. Don't act like you didn't. You didn't expect that ending. You did not expect that ending. And I don't care how manly you are, how much hair you have on your chest. You cried. You cried. And if you didn't, you should have. Rumble has just gone sketchy. I now have vids pop up from Philly supporters, one of the blue, out of the blue. In the past, if I put on a channel, it would just bring in the next vid in line. No longer. Rumble seems to be in like Flynn for the Philly cause. I mean, they got to survive. They got to sell ads. I don't know. Maybe people are paying to have their videos roll up next. I don't know. But, I mean, I don't be mean. They don't pay their creators anything anyway, so not much. Check out LF and EF's faces at that Trump rally in Arizona. They both look like they despise Trump. Them's harsh words. With all of the child transportation stuff coming to light, I think it's time to start diving deeper into Victor Marx. Happy to send over some info. I have a lot of people telling me to do that. There's no way a Republican's going to win in Colorado. I have looked into him long before you guys started asking. Actually, maybe the first person asked me or something. I was like, I'll look into it. I just don't know that there's a show there yet that I've seen. But he's not going to win. I mean, you can't win. A Republican can't win in Colorado anymore. Too many weirdos went there. Fan of RBP since your kids decorated your birthday hat. Oh, yeah, it's been a while. My birthday today. Happy birthday, Kelly. God bless your humble host and keep up the stellar work. Well, thank you. Edge, regardless of what your son thinks, I love the country song and I've listened dozens of times. It has become a brain worm that brings smiles, and I love the symbolism of you 3 protecting Queen C. That's awfully kind of you, Edge. They're stream sniping us. Hey, Gary. Hey, Gary. What is the fair use, Gary? What are you doing? You want that? I provide commentary when I play your stuff. Are you giving commentary? You want to see these $5 chats roll in, Gary? You're jealous because you don't get any? How many people is he having right now? Is that what he's jealous about? I got 23,000 people and he's got what, under 1,000, I bet? Jealousy's a bad look, brother. It doesn't look good on you. Let's see here. What's he up to? 876, Gary. My church seats more than that. It's a small church. Wow. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. I was at the 1970 All-Star game as a 10-year-old Reds fan with my dad. Still have the pennant. Saw Rose Bowl over Bossy. Braves have been nemesis. Saw Rose Bowl over. I've been to 2 Reds games. I think I've been to 2 Reds games. I went to one in their old park and one in their new park. The Great American Ballpark. Had seats in the little mid-tier deck behind home plate. Great seats. Great seats. They played the Brewers, if I recall correctly. That's a cool story. Mikey McCoy's behavior before Charlie even falls is the smoking gun, showing TPUSA foreknowledge. He's also only 22 or 23. Like, I don't know how hard. Like, I'll admit it was weird he walked off the way he walked off, but again, he's a kid. Like, I'm not getting soft on old Mikey, don't get me wrong, but I put something on Twitter the other day. Should I play it again here? I was watching some old video footage and I actually felt bad for him. Let me see if I can find it. Daisy, are you still in here? Do you have that video? You had it muted and pulled. You still have that? I don't know where it was. There was a clip. It was like 2 or 3 minutes long, or not even that. It's like 20 seconds long. And I just felt bad for him. Actually, I might still have it. I think you sent it to me, didn't you? Let me look at my downloads. Yeah, I've still got it. I think. Is that it? Yeah, check this out. I'm going to play this. Oh, wrong screen. Hang on. Watch this. Just watch Mikey. This I don't know if I'm getting soft in my old age. This is muted. So there it is. There it is. Just let that roll. Just watch Mikey's face. Frank and Rob are hamming it up. Look at Mikey. Just look at Mikey. Just watch him. So I don't know about that. I'm telling you, man, I watched that and I thought, have I been reading this kind of wrong? I felt bad for him. Did not feel bad for Frank and Rob in that, but I did feel bad for Mikey when I watched that. Don't even bother with Andrew Wilson. He sold his soul to Crowder and Trump. I don't even know who he is. Like, I don't, it's not that I don't want to bother. I don't know who he is. Like, I've never heard his name before Zach went on with him. I know nothing about him. I know he smokes like 6-pack of Marlboro Reds a day. That's all I know. My wife and I were watching the other night when you were saying EK should have taken 6 months off. She said to tell you thanks for the tip. If anything happens to me, it was her. Keep up the awesome work. Hey, this is not how to get away with murder. And I'm not suggesting she did it, by the way. I'm just saying, like, I think had she taken 6 months off, there is no investigation. There's no investigation. Nobody's looking into this thing. Nobody's talking about TPUSA. They're going on doing their thing. We're doing our thing. No one's talking about it. I think she absolutely kept this alive. 100%. And that, again, not to say she did it. I don't think she crawled up on a roof with a 30-06 and shot anybody. I don't think she planted any. I I just think she's been so terrible for the brand. So terrible for the brand. Like, imagine had she not come out in black leather grieving pants. Imagine had she not done that weird hug with JD in those black leather pants. Imagine had she not come out in a all-white suit, certainly not grieving attire, 2 days after Charlie passes and gives a speech. That's weird, where she's whispering to herself and staring up at the ceiling. Imagine had she not come out in a gold bedazzled suit looking like Elvis to fireworks. What is there to talk about? What is the critique? What are you upset about? Like, no one keeps looking in. But I think people were like, oh, weird. Are we sure this was on? You were sure this was Tyler Robinson? It seems like the plot of the movie with Warren Beatty, The Parallax View. I don't know what that movie is. What is The Parallax View? Hold on. Check something out here. What is The Parallax View? I don't know anything about it. Gosh, I just checked in on Gary to see if they were still talking about us. And I paused it because I didn't want it to play. I just want to show you the pause. This is great. They look confident. They look confident. They don't look like they got caught. Oh, gosh. The Parallax View. Love it, bro. Thank you. Oh, Chandler. I know you. I've known you for 25 years, probably. Or more. What's up, man? Thank you for that, Chandler. Thank you. Baron, did Daisy find that the original flight scheduled out of Santa Barbara was at 10 a.m. and had to be changed when Charlie made Andrew do the September 10th show because Ben S was on 9/9/2025? That was the original. Okay, so the original flight from Santa Barbara to Scottsdale was at 10 a.m. It was changed to later in the day, hour or so, hour and a half later. We don't know the why. I mean, I speculated that maybe that's why, but I don't know for sure that's why. But that would make sense to me. He wouldn't be available because he had to do the Charlie Kirk show. Why do you think all these lies could cause the trial to turn into investigation into AK and EK TPUSA in any way? Do I think? Is that even possible? Thanks, Christ is King. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. Possible. Christ King indeed. Andrew's wife's name is spelled with a Y on the document, which should be an I. Love from Scotland. Yes. Love from Scotland. Enjoy the haggis. Do you guys really eat haggis? I think that's a shtick. I don't think you really eat it. I think you guys say you eat it so that we think you guys eat it, but you don't eat haggis. No one eats haggis. Great opening. Second to the Magician. I'm in Pensacola, so it hit home. Thanks for the awesome content. You're welcome. Thank you. You're the second person to reference that Magician. I may go back and watch that. Check plane number N871PH as possible blacked out airplane. I looked at that today, actually. That's weird that you said that. Who owned that? Which one was that? Which plane was that? Oh, maybe I didn't look at it. I don't have a purple link. N871PH. Thought I looked at it. This is blacked out. Let me look at ADSB real quick. Are you onto something? N871PH. Or did you do a typo? Yeah, I'm not seeing it anywhere. That's weird. Duly noted, sir. Duly noted. Let me write a note down on it. Okay. Where'd you get that number from? Frank T. at UVU, March 26, announced he wanted to interview September 10 witnesses after his talk. Hunter was there, and Frank said he met with him the day before. Crazy town. Hunter was there, Henry Dell was there, Jeb Jacoby was there, and I did hear him announce that he wanted to meet with witnesses. Why? Please, Adfleet, I need to see Baron in a rendition of Beaches. I don't think there weren't too many men in that movie. Uh-oh. Love the show. In a sermon that you covered, Rob McCoy states that he flew from Provo to Salt Lake City. Could that be RGY 872? Does that put him on Santa Barbara? to Provo with AK's wife. Maybe. I thought he left later on the Delta Zulu plane. I could be wrong about that. I'm praying for you and to debate Andrew. I don't know Andrew. I'm just so sick of, I saw the debate with Zach. So sick of him claiming to debunk, destroy anyone who shares our views about Charlie's murder. Again, if Andrew wants to say, I will state the facts that the government has put forth in the charging documents and anything that a government official has said, I will state those facts and then we will talk about if there are holes available. I'll be happy to have that discussion with somebody. I don't know if that's a debate. That's a discussion. If he's trying to get me to prove the defense's case, that's not the way it works. The defense doesn't have to put on any evidence. The defense can just walk away at the end, say, no, not guilty. They didn't. And it happens a lot that the defense doesn't put on any evidence because the prosecution hadn't met their burden. Baron, could you briefly outline your opinion as it stands today on the who, how, and why with this case? Subject to change, of course. Once again, I appreciate the work you and Daisy do to seek the truth. Who? I think some combination. I think if it unfolded the way I think it did, I think it's highly improbable, in my opinion, that people like Terrell Farnsworth and Philip Goldsberry would have had to be involved. Butch Hibbs would have had to be involved, I think. Dan Flood for sure. Probably Brian Harpole. Maybe other members of the security. I don't know. This is just opinion. This is just guessing. I would think Andrew and Erica would have been aware of it. I don't know on Mikey. Like my gut is yes, but I don't know. Like he's disappeared. Keep that in mind. Would it have required outside actors? Probably, but I don't know. Is that like the United States defense industry? Is it foreign defense industry? I don't know. Or intelligence, either one. I'm amused by the Zechariah Qureshi story. I'm not done with that. George Zinn also, like I'm amused by what he said. Allegedly told somebody that he was paid to do that. I don't know if he's believable. I don't even know if that story's true, but I don't. If he did say that, I don't know that he's necessarily believable. The how, I think something took off under his shirt, either his microphone or his necklace. The necklace did not snap like that from a gunshot. Just didn't. I refuse to believe it. Absolutely refuse to believe it. That was a massively thick necklace. It did not snap like that from a gunshot. Something would have had to take place, in my opinion, under his shirt to break the necklace. Something would have had to take place under his shirt for either the necklace pendant or a piece of the microphone or whatever it was to come up and hit him in the neck. I still believe that something happened with that handheld mic, that SM58 Shure microphone he was holding, that either shorted or the ground was lifted or something. It looked like he was electrocuted. He had goosebumps afterwards. But something happened under his shirt. I'm convinced, in my opinion, but I'm convinced. Was he also shot with a round? I don't think so, but I don't know. I don't believe he was. If I had to state right now which way I was leaning, I would lean towards no. I don't know where the shot would have come from. Certainly not from the Losi Center with a 30-06. That's just not believable to me. So that's the who and the how. The why? He'd outlived his usefulness to the people around him. And he was becoming a problem. Thank you for that. Edge, I did contact Angel when I saw AK's face. They promptly replied with blah, blah. It would cost more than my budget to post. I'll put it in the chat after. Thank you. Finally stopped raining in Hawaii. Happy Palm Sunday from Maui. Maui. Rumple Gold, you're out there living the island life. A lot of us dream about your life. My brother just lost his dad. We lost our mom when we were young. His grandparents helped raise him and they passed. His best bud disappeared while hunting. So heavy. Please keep them in your prayers. That sounds like a lot of tragedy for one life. I'm sorry to hear all that. Absolutely will do that. Wonder how much Rage Bronson is being paid to troll. Some people just like to troll. I mean, if you want to pay me to troll me, that's the best kind of trolling. Thank you for all you and Daisy do. I really need the distraction. Knowing a family member of mine is waiting on the call to deploy causes a lot of anxiety. Prayers to all of our military. Christ is King. My wife was just telling me about a friend of hers whose son has been deployed so fast that they won't even get to say goodbye to him. He was somewhere else and like within 2 days had to report and be gone, and he wasn't able to get home. That's fast. Things are heating up. Hi, Baron and Daisy. Hygiene. Get that? Hygiene. Jessica Krause is on a mission to take CO down. JK has a current multi-part series against CO to avenge the multiple episodes CO did on JK 1 year ago. Oh. Does that explain why she's crazy? Or allegedly? Months prior to the event, wasn't there also a search done from Our Greatest Ally or DC inquiring about defense attorneys in Provo, Utah? That's what the data suggested. Go back and watch those early shows. They're fun. In that case, the defense attorneys are not going to be looking out for TR. Well, all we know is someone was looking at him. We don't know anything else. I can't read the top one because you guys have it pinned. I was going to read some Grumbler messages for a second, but someone pinned a message and now I can't see the top one. I'll get there in a second. I'm on the road driving through Nashville right now. Thank you for a wonderful show. You're the second person on the road driving through Nashville as we speak. It's a glorious town. Stop and look around. Don't just go through. Don't just drive through. Stop and get some delicious dinner or something. AK's wife's name misspelled. She uses an I, not a Y. Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? Considering they have your ID and shouldn't mess that up. Amazing again. I'm on a chair cheering. Oh, thank you. Offered hoodie through members X on 320. Ordered hoodie. No updates or delivery yet. Just letting high IQ management aware. Much love to B, D, KC, and fam. Happy Palm Sunday. God bless. I think mine took like 10 or 12 days to deliver, I think, more or less. I have to go back and look at when I got it or when I ordered it and when it delivered. But you can follow up with Shopify. They're handling all the shipping. 7K Gary, Go Max Baron, diving deep. Doing my best, sir. Or ma'am. Or sir. I can't tell. Atlantic Aviation opened in Kalispell, Montana, September 1, 2025, just days before 9/10. That Axel 10 plane that did low dips by UVU, it flew out of that new location, managed by Chris Barton. There were a lot of interesting planes in Kalispell in the week leading up. A lot. The surname Krause is primarily of German, Ashkenazi, Jewish origin. Keep going, Max Barron. I was unaware. Atlantic Aviation Services on Itinerary just so happens to be managed by Chris Barton, related to David and Tim Barton. Ooh, interesting. I don't give a damn. I don't know. House in Habit was beefing with Candace for a while. You inadvertently put yourself on her radar when you mentioned her Substack post dealing with CK's last day on Earth some weeks back. Oops. I remember that. That was a good post. I'm glad she put that up. Tim Barton owns property in Kalispell with neighbor's last name Bartholomew. Wow. Posted on X with photos researched by Imperfect Grace J. They only Charlie goes Max. Charlie Kerr 41170 and 369 testifying. Thank you, Dom. I'll check that out. That would be weird. That would be weird, right? When did Y-Refi become a TPUSA sponsor? Their logo was large in the background of that Paradise Jets video at the inauguration you showed. I don't know. I don't keep up with the sponsorship habits of TPUSA. That I can't tell you. Dear Baron, Daisy, and family. I'm always seen as the conspiracy theorist since 2011. Any advice for me? I keep being right. Sending blessings. Your opening statement always amazes me. Thank you. Those are very kind words. Frank Turek, referring to the Old Testament during his Q&A at UVU, was driving me nuts. Oh, this is a theological discussion you're about to open up here. Didn't Jesus wipe away the old law? The whole thing was sketch. Well, Jesus said he didn't come to abolish the law, but to fulfill it. So I'll leave it there. I'm not going to wade into that discussion right now. It's late, but I don't know if that provides you any relief. B, you deserve a super chat. Super chat. Hope qualifies as we're retired and income ain't what she used to be. Thanks for your word. Moronicism, new favorite word. Love you, staff, family, and real fan. Yes, moronicism is a great word. Baron spitting fire today. Subtext. So run. You cur. Run, tell all the other curs the law's coming. Oh. We're quoting Tombstone here. You tell them I'm coming and hell's coming with me. I'm your huckleberry. Isn't that a daisy? Yes. So that's good. That was when Wyatt wasn't out for revenge. It was a reckoning. No Gary debate. He's beneath you. He's a mouthpiece. You are OG. Definitely pursue George. I will definitely pursue George. The only reason I brought Gary up is because I had to set up the context that they keep trying to leak out their garbage alibi lies, in my opinion, through Gary and people Gary adjacent. That's the only point I was making. So I had to bring him back up. But Baron, let me know if you need a fellow Nashvilleian unicorn to help. Unicorn? I don't know what a unicorn is. I'm kind of scared, if I'm being honest. Like a rhino? They have one horn. Ancient Rome, lawyers placed palm fronds over their door to show a win in court. Happy Palm Sunday. Interesting. I didn't know that. Is that the genesis of that? Greetings from Croatia. I knew our judicial system and social services is a scary, corrupt swamp. Not defending children. Learning EK was here makes me up at night. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. Yeah. I'm also curious why she was there. I've been curious why she was there. I don't know. Counselor, I saw Lionel yesterday. Ivan. He's a big fan of yours, and I am too. You continue to be an inspiration for truth, justice, and the American way. Prayers to you and your family. How do we get out of this Iran-Israel mess? Now, I don't know the answer to that last one. I mean, I do, but it's not likely to happen. I like Lionel a lot. I was listening to him before I came on today, like the last hour or so before I came on. I had him playing gently in the background, the dulcet tones of Lionel. He's an excellent broadcaster, by the way. Very, very talented broadcaster. Hi, Baron. Happy Palm Sunday. Husband is filing without my help now. I believe in our Heavenly Father, and it is God's will for our marriage to be restored. Please may I ask for you and everyone to pray and lift our marriage up to our Father. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed, Stephanie. I'm sorry you're dealing with that. I genuinely am. That's a very, very tough situation, and I'm just sorry. I will pray for you. I will pray for you. And me. I followed the Baron from Trends Days as well, walking around outside a tropical smoothie cafe, back and forth listening. Your smoothie might melt before the end of the show. Think the how would come first, as TR and gun thing is wrong. Microphone bomb explosion thing appears more plausible than the who, not the band. Yeah. I was never a big Who fan. They had a couple good songs. The Tommy album was pretty fun. Not a huge Who fan. Daisy researched these for Baron. Iris Global, Heidi Baker, named top 50 Christian allies in 2021 by IAF NJNS, Guatemala, Rick Cutler. I'm glad somebody's going to research it because I didn't follow it. I said this a couple weeks ago, and tag X by the people. 63 has pick of PA speaker. I have a pick of the PA speaker. What am I looking at? My vote is to shut down TPUSA. It's not what it was intended to be. Please don't donate to that organization. That's not your call. They've got billionaires donating. If Andrew was part of a conspiracy and Candace felt Andrew was honest when talking about his anxiety in the hug with Erica, what was he anxious for? I mean, I think it's self-evident. Crime of the century had just been pulled off. When you get even bigger, Mrs. Coleman, Martha Stewart, and Snoop Dogg should do a collab. Would love to watch that. And then my wife wants to collab with Snoop Dogg. Or Snoop Lion, as he was for a short period of time. Snoop D-O-double-G. S-N-O-O-P D-O-double-G-U-C. Frank T. at UVU, March 26th, told crowd September 10th was not their fault. Strange comment. Said Charlie Kirk didn't invite him to UVU until they went on September 8th walk. More lies. Baron, please do an opening about the Karen Reed trial. I was outside the courthouse with thousands of others day after day. They made us remain silent, all of us. I sent you an email and videos of thousands of us being silent for Karen. Thank you for the donation. I don't know enough about it. I have to really research that. That would take a long time. Like I tend to do openings on things I've followed pretty closely or I've read a lot about. Maybe I'll look into it. You're my favorite podcast. Thanks for all you do. Working out is paying off. Your shoulders look fab. Thank you. I'm doing my best over here. I did a lot of burpees yesterday. Ooh. That got onto my shoulders. IU football rules and Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. Let's not conflate the two. Even though we have a Mendoza, or did. Gary also blocked me. He can't take criticism. Happy Easter season. God bless. Thank you. Is your bird's name Edgar Allan Crow? No, but that's funny. It should be. It is now. It is now. Except that was a raven, not a crow. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Shout out to my wife to be who's on a work trip. Oh, your wife to be who's on a work trip in Louisville. This is the first time watching your show without her. Love the show as always. Great opening statement. I like your little banner there. I have the same one hanging up over here. You just can't see it. Are you the same one who just said IU football rules? No, it's a different one. We got 2 IU football fans in the house. Bravo on your AK flight itinerary. Totally fraudulent. Wow, they're so dumb. In my opinion. It's your opinion. Michael Jackson and Farrah Fawcett died same day. I was not aware of that. Baron, on Netflix, there's a new show you have to watch. It's got a Kathy theme. Where in the world of Fort Huachuca are Gary and Joe? I don't know what Netflix is. Baron, the Google 2026 call out was epic and the most convincing. How can anyone explain a Google Maps from the future? Fantastic show as always. Yeah, that was a daisy catch. She caught that. Drew my eye to it. Thankful for the pod driving home to Nashville. But so many Nashville travelers. What's going on here? Is it spring break or something? That would make sense, wouldn't it? After time, my little brother to grieve his dad. It's been my escape to listen. I can't think about it without breaking down. Everyone grieves differently. Yeah, sounds like you grieve normally. Baron, thank you very much. Honey Badger, thank you more. Thank you. Baron lobbing law bombs. I love it. Andrew needs Larry Middleman. He's a real professional. Won't overshake like Gary. Worth every penny. Bob Loblaw. Christ is King. If you read Bob Loblaw's law blog, you'll understand what he's talking about. Operation Epic Fury is about as convincing as 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Just 2 weeks left, guys. 2 weeks. I have to disagree with you. The FBI can absolutely ignore the fact that Andrew left before Charlie was taken down. They can. It'd be telling if we were able to definitively identify him on that plane. That would be telling. Sorry, Gary and Andrew. Maybe poker's just not your game. I know. Let's have a spelling contest. Yes. Let's have a spelling contest. More tombstone quotes. B, if your local Costco has it, give Brahmi protein pasta a try. 21 gram protein, solid sub for regular pasta. Tastes great. Does it have wheat? I don't eat wheat. Okay for dog treats. Oh, thank you. If TPUSA hated Tucker, why did they have him speak at Memorial? I've always wondered. That's a good question. But his speech was stellar. He loves hummus. I mean, who doesn't love hummus? When does all this get to a point where the law has to actively look into this, a real investigation, or is it possible just to ignore it all and move on? Is there anything we can do? No, they could absolutely ignore it and move on. That was Lionel's point of his show today. But they would need Tyler to be convicted or something happened to him. The real question is, if they offered to pay you $5 million a year, would you leave us and do it? Oh, that's a lot of money. I've never made $5 million in a year. Would I go work for people I thought were criminals for $5 million a year? I mean, isn't that what lawyering is? You work for criminals? They pay you. No criminals ever paid me $5 million. This would be a first. I'm not saying they're criminals. It's just opinion. Nah, I wouldn't leave. But for 10, I'd go work a year or two and quit. I'm kidding. I think. TR hearing is the 17th, a Friday. We can stream it in members. Not a bad idea. Shout out to your dentist. We get to see you when you laugh. Great teeth. I've never had a cavity. Never worn braces. These are the chompers I was born with. Yes. Natural choppers. And I don't use fluoride. Go figure. Baron, I was listening to opening statement, took dog out, captured wild video evidence, cloud seeding spraying over Boston in real time, multiple planes, cloud get thick, thick darker on X as energy architect. WTF. I hear a lot of people talking about the cloud seeding and the geoengineering. I've never really looked into it much, honestly. It's just, I get busy. I look at other stuff. Do you know crows hold grudges? Yeah, that's why I'm nice to them. I don't want them being mad at me. And they spread the rumors to their offspring who've never even met you. But they won't like you either, and nobody knows how they do that. Not saying Candace lying, TPUSA PR lying. We are pretzeling between a bunch of liars' statements. What if it's PR slop? Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, well, maybe. First super, been watching members since CO show. Thank you, Carrie's back. Carrie's back. Gary has no kids, lady, on now. It's insufferable. Well, I shouldn't have said that. I feel bad. I hope she accepts my apology. Baron, what if it's a PSYOP within a PSYOP? Oh my gosh, a PSYOP inception, a PSYception. Test every trick to see what people figure out and what they can get away with to be better at future PSYOPs. We're all basically training them right now. Oh, that's bad news. Also, the entire Charlie Kirk narrative plays out like it was written, planned by a PR person. It's a PR dream as it's told. How involved was EK? Or AK? I don't know. I think my opinion is pretty. May your day be filled with peace, faith, and hope. May your path be divinely guided with wisdom, love, and renewed purpose today. Christ is King. That flowed really well. I don't know if you write for a living or whatever, but that was beautifully written. Thank you. Christ is King indeed. Turk at UVU answering Q&A. Satan is bold. Yeah, you're telling me. Tip. Kalispell whitefish. All right, I'm drilled in on the geography. Major General Paul E. Valelli, who lives there, is on TPUSA board. No, he's not. He's on the board of advisors. It's different. And wrote a book on psychological warfare from PSYOP to mind war with Michael Aquino. I knew about all that. I didn't know he lived there, but I believe you. A lot of former spooks live there, I hear. Like that's like Spook Central up there. Bunch of spies and CIA types, intelligence types. I heard just crawling with the place. Apparently, there's an article about it. I showed it the other day. Did no one else see EK on Wednesday's show? Episode 86, 1649. You got Eric'd. Hammer style. Did I get Eric'd? You notice I haven't hammered you guys since that happened that time, and I apologize. It was a total accident. I've learned. Gary debunked Harpole drone story. I emailed timestamps a few months back. Also sent pics of EK tattoos. I've seen the tattoos. Did you see Wolves in Finance last video? You mean from this morning? Yeah, I saw it. Every time I see AK and EK, I hear the song Liar by Three Dog Night. I enjoyed the show. I wasn't knocking it by not addressing it. I just don't. You just asked if I saw it. I answer questions a lot like I would advise somebody taking a deposition. Like I answer the question asked. You asked if I saw it. Yeah, I have. I probably should have said a word about it. I thought you did a good job. I mean, I think there were a couple facts that maybe have been proven over time to not have borne out, like the disassembling the rifle on the roof. I think the governor's come out and said he misspoke on that, or shouldn't have said it, or didn't happen, or whatever. But other than that, I thought it was a good video. Charlie's March, Tennessee video has a Butch Hibbs 2.0 lookalike right behind the students asking questions. Same flannel, same white beard. Somebody's cosplaying as Butch. My kids call you Two Candle and Baloney. They say that Candle is lit. We love and appreciate you so much. Candle is lit. Candle is lit. No doubt about it. Bought my best dress vans for today's stream. Brought my best dress vans. Yes, you need them. Yes, you need them. You got to have your dress vans on when we come as a jury to congregate. Is Tyler Boyer innocent in all this? Why haven't we heard much about him and his involvement? Just curious, go Max. I honestly don't have an opinion on that. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I have taken note of the fact that Tyler and Mikey have gotten really quiet lately. And I don't know if that's guilt or innocence. I don't know. but both of them have sort of dialed the public appearances way back. And I know from talking to people inside TPUSA that there are people at the top who believe that it was an inside job. When I say the top, I mean the management level, the upper echelon, not the top, not Erica. I just don't know the identities of those people. So I've been like looking with a keen eye, like who's acting weird. Finally made it live. Yay. Yes, Angel. Angie. Thank you, Baron, for the good work you do. Daisy, too. My prayer is for justice for Charlie. Yes, same. I'm offering my Divine Mercy Novena for him this year. God bless and protect you and your family. Thank you. That's very sweet. Baron, what do you think about Megyn Kelly being so on the fence? I just don't want to watch her anymore. I don't really have an opinion on that. I never watched her much. I don't watch her a ton now. I'll catch clips every now and then, but I never sit down to watch a whole show. AK is the biggest leak in TPUSA. Yeah, I mean, it certainly seems that way. Baron, the stock picture you showed of the Itinerary plane not only showed the in plane number, but had Regency Air on the engine that was photoshopped out. Weird, huh? Weird. Almost like it was fake. Did they also edit the company name off the engine cowling of the plane? Yeah, did. Baron, you said before Mrs. Coleman uses balsamic vinegar, not red wine. Oh, maybe she does. Oh, no. I wonder if she'll answer me if I ask her. I'll ask. Do you use balsamic vinegar or red wine vinegar on the chicken thighs? ? We'll find out. We'll see if she answers. About Charlie Kirk case. Why engrave bullets when he had no intention of leaving the gun? Bullets would never be seen. Fed stop working overtime. See? Oh, she's writing back, guys. She's writing back. Balsamic. You're right. Thank you. Thank you for correcting me. Thank you, period. Thank you. That is. See, I like to correct myself when I get it wrong. Andrew, all I need is evidence. All I need is evidence. Honestly, kind of miss the days when we'd all sit in silence and just stare at the side of your face while you watch the video. No, we've stepped it up a notch here. Rockadoodle, rackoodle, rackoodle, rackoodle. We've stepped it way up. Way up. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. Baron need high IQ shirt where outfit is inferred. That's a good idea. Speaking of, JoJo asked, excellent show. Any update on the Grumbler merge? Hang on. Yes. Still working out the banking thing. Once we get the banking thing worked out, away we go. What I've learned is you have to start rich to sell merch. And your humble host is not. So we're working on getting a situation where we can get this stuff out without it having to stop 10 times a day. And when we do, we'll roll it out to everybody. We'll add a Grumbler option in there. House in Habit is in the Einstein files for harassing the victims, also part of Bindergate. She also said Einstein files didn't exist on 10 Pools Pod. I'll have to look that up. Daisy, can you look at that? Is that true? I'm going to take a picture in case you're not watching. Is that true? Is this true? Tilly's defense, he'll bring me here. He'll bring me in there 5 minutes. Yeah, Tilly's already gotten her fame. She 3 days walked around. Granddad, you know I'm famous? I know. Stop. Everyone at TPUSA's attempt to memory hole the events surrounding and leading up to CK's unaliving make their involvement most peculiar indeed. As is the wife of the decedent asking for a speedy trial before we have any evidence. Like, I would want to know who killed my spouse, and I would want to make sure we knew everyone involved. I certainly wouldn't be trying to shut down everybody. I wouldn't want my employees out there trying to shut down any kind of investigation. If you have evidence someone else was involved, let's find it. Let's get to the bottom of this. If there were 100 people, I want to know every name on the list. I don't want to close the books and move on. What kind of weird spouse does that? That was my best Wolves in Finance. What kind of weird spouse does that? I like that guy. He's fun. My first live and super chat because I'm off work today. Love from Melbourne, Australia. Love your work. I love your work. Great comment. And I like watching the Melbourne Grand Prix every year. That's how I know how it's pronounced Melbourne, not Melbourne, because they say it 100 times. Paramount is talking smack about you as we speak. That Blanken guy. Good. Drive his 800 people over here. I refuse to watch The Notebook for fear of tears. You should. You should. It'll get you. Your Blake Shelton voice every time you say Tilly. I didn't know I had a Blake Tilly. I didn't know I had a Blake Shelton voice. Came in late. That lady with Gary was also trying to debunk Jillian's story. She was shaming Jillian, a teenager at that time. Yeah, so this is who they're relying on. I don't even know if she's in the Einstein Files, but if she is, you're having her on your show? Trying to shame a 15-year-old? You're having her on your show? That's weird. That's weird. Assuming it's all true. I don't know. Just to anger Gary Moore. Keep up the awesome work. Christ is king. Thank you, Sandy. Gary's turning over on his set right now. Keep seeking the truth, Baron. Thank you, Daisy and Mods, for all the hard work you do. God bless. Jesus loves you. Jesus loves you too, Randy. Thank you. Thank you for that generosity. Must be over the target. Yep. That's my thought. Gary. Thank you, Rosie. Always good for a sense of humor. Frank Turkett, UVU, worst cover attempt in 6 months. I thought it was pretty shameless that he billed his Frank Turek returns to the scene of the crime. And then they had a picture of the courtyard. I was like, Brosky. Dial it back a little bit, all right? And then they held it in an auditorium that seated 83 people. Charlie had 3,000. I think Gary has more people on his live than Frank had at his. But Bear and Jack Hibbs and Calvary Church need a real deep dive. This ties directly into the bigger picture and deserves coverage, please. I need more than that. Point me in some direction. What is it you think they're involved in? What is it you think I'm going to find? Point me somewhere. I can't just Google Jack Hibbs and start clicking links. He's the brother of a guy who was there. That might be weird, but now I'll tell you one thing that was weird. This is weird. I think they've memory holed it. I think they've taken this off the internet. Wasn't it Jack Hibbs who said before anybody that he knew Charlie Kirk had passed? And he said he learned it from his friends in Israel? Did I hear that right? Do you recall that? I don't know why that's coming to my head. When he talked, I'm picturing it in my head. When he there were leaves around him or something? He maybe on a back deck or a back patio or something? I don't know. I remember that. We need a member chat for Mrs. Coleman's recipes. You'll get the chicken coconut curry, whatever that's called, out of her dead hands. I don't want anyone else making that. You could sell that. That's worth $1 million. Easy. Got a little spice to it, but not too much. A little salty, but not too much. Just enough that when you throw it over rice, it kind of cools it off a little bit, and the salinity doesn't get too out of whack. Oh, it's good. And the way she cooks the chicken just kind of melts in your mouth. Whoa. Starving now, folks. Starving Marvin. Folding palm crosses with the kids. A fun way to spend a Sunday morning, minus all the extra traffic at church. To the max. Yeah, Saturday night's a good way to get around that. Gary. Rosie, come on. Not the same Gary, I don't think. Are you sending me supers while you're on the air? AI is just another lie. The truth is out there. By the way, I was looking for suede Vans with crepe soles, and they're sold out. The dress up and dress down. Mikey could use some. Go Max Barron. Gary, you're going to look so good in those. I'm glad I got mine before they got hot. Vans if I had an Adidas and a Vans sponsorship, I've turned down sponsors, but I might take those. Gary just says, anybody that doesn't go along with the Philly cause is a Nazi. I doubt he said that because that's ludicrous. Another excellent show. Going to go ahead and call it. Waiting for the Fleet production of Baroness TPUSA attorney. French Polynesia now. Good crowd today with all the A&P Catholics. Ashes and palms. Yeah, you got A&Ps and you got Creasters. Christmas and Easter. You get a good crowd for about 2 weeks and then it's back to normal. You get a pew again. Baron, do you think something was in his necklace? I do. The way Erica talked about it and then held it up after. I think so. I think there were 2 necklaces. If I had to guess. Okay. Just purchased my first pair of Vans. Allen Skull Black White, 30% off Amazon. Christ is King. Oh, Alien Skull Black and White. Let me look at those. Alien Skull Black White Vans. Oh, you're gonna look good on those. Wow, those are nice. Nice. The slip-ons, did you say? I don't know if you got the ties or the slip-ons, but man, those are gonna look good. I might have to get a pair of those. Man, 30% off Amazon. I'll have to go check them out. Then you got to, once you feel comfortable though, you'll run out and get some dress Vans. Pretty soon you'll be wearing them to church. I don't say I didn't warn you. Gotta be careful. It's like trying drugs, kids. You never know. You could be a junkie. Next thing you know, you're like leaned over like this in San Francisco. For Gary, just kidding. Gary suck. For telling. Oh, come on. Ted B picked up my mom and her friend. Ted Bundy picked up your mom and her friend for a ride in Florida, 1978. He was asking to take pics of them. They jumped out at a stoplight. She still remembers the VW. Great opening statement. That is ludicrous. Ludicrousy. That's ludicrous. Holy mackerel. Someone told me they were going to clip every time I said holy mackerel. I said it's going to be a long video. Half of Gary's viewers are probably people in your chat watching him to be a sniper on your live. I love your show. The mods, thank you for the hard work. Oh, thank you. Love your show. Love the mods. Thank you for your hard work. He loves the mods. AK to Gary. You love Israel, don't you, Gary? TPUSA can take your channel to the next level. I will feed you flimsy info to shut down CO. Gary still screws it up. Let's not be too hard on Gary. He's probably a good guy. I liked his stuff before he went rogue. Like when he was trying to point out the different velocities and the angles and all that, it was a cool show. Like I watched every one of them. What if Mikey McCoy is the kid at the Trump rally? EK's kid from her 8. No, that wouldn't be the right time. Mikey's 23 now, which means he'd have been born in 2003. The 2015 Trump rally, that kid, Mikey would have been 12. That kid was not 12. He was like 6, 7, 8. He was young. So weird that Gary and his minion are watching you live as they're on live. That's next level creep status. Watching them try to justify the itinerary was hilarious, though. I can imagine. I'm curious how they got around the misspelling when they have their driver's license, or you punch it in. I'll be the one to ask. How hard did you blush watching Fleet's new EK video? I feel like I had to go to confession. We need an EK Casey Anthony speaking tour on justice reform and grief selling books they didn't write. So Casey Anthony lives around me, like pretty close. And she hops in stores, and every now and then on like the neighborhood pages and the local community pages, people be like, hey, Casey Anthony came in my store today to get a haircut or something. And so I know she gets out and about. I've never run into her, obviously. If I have, I didn't recognize her. But I know she lives close and pops in and out of places. Security takes 2 weeks to set up. Nothing next day. It's what they say. I'm just taking their word for it. CK was the only high IQ person at Turning Point, excuse me. Without him, they're grabbing at straws. They certainly can't keep up with this high IQ outfit. YouTube censoring C is K in normal format. You can't say Christ is King anymore on Holy Week? Of all weeks to censor that? You serious? Christ is King indeed. Lots of questions. Lots of questions for reasonable doubt. Think TR's attorneys will frame him to plead guilty. Can you advise the fam so he doesn't? Would you reach out to them, or is that unethical? Afraid he may have poor representation. I won't reach out to him just because I think it's poor taste. I mean, they've got legal representation. They're grown adults. They know what's on the internet. They could call me. They could call Candace. They could call anybody. So if they're not, then they don't want to be bothered. So it's not an ethics issue. It's just like basic common decency. Like if my son was on trial for his life, I wouldn't want people calling me. They know. I don't think they think he did it. So I think they're probably watching shows like this. Baron, come on, Mikey shows zero surprise to the Big Bang and on his way before Charlie falls. He wasn't even in a position to see the blood. He knew. Maybe he did. I'm not saying he didn't. I'm just saying, like, when I watch certain clips of him, like that clip Daisy played a little bit ago, I was watching that and I thought, that's not right. Something's weird there. Maybe he just hates his dad. All right. Helicopters are back. Let me see what we got here. I got to look here real quick. We got helicopters back, guys. Why when I'm on the air? That's weird. I don't know what that was. How low is it? Oh, it's way up there. Just a loud one. Gary, thank you for your investigative contributions. Couldn't do this without you. We would be lost. Honestly, we'd be lost without Gary. We wouldn't have known that they were trying to pawn off. We wouldn't have known who was trying to pawn off that stupid picture of someone else's kids. We would not have known Mitch Snow definitively was at Fort Huachuca, right? I mean, like none of that was known when he broke that. That was breaking news at the time. Now, I mean, we can confirm it now, but at the time we couldn't. High IQ pet loving fam loves Tilly and doesn't mind her interruptions. My 10-year-old English setter diagnosed with throat cancer November 23, passed November 25. His barks are dearly missed. I bet they are. I'm sorry to hear that. I'd like to hear your Christian testimony. I'm genuinely interested. Gosh, it's late. And let me give you the fast version. So I grew up in not like an unchristian home, but like a nominally Christian home. We didn't go to church every weekend. We went some, but not a ton. And, I was not a believer growing up. I just it was kind of cultural, everyone was sort of culturally Christian. So why wouldn't I be? I went to college, and by that time I'd become kind of a militant atheist. Like I would fight with people about it. I remember fighting with my roommate about it. The beginning of my second year, like really fighting with her about it. I lived with a woman, whatever. We weren't together. Her roommate bailed at the last second. My sister got married. We both needed a place to stay. We lived together. It was platonic. She was great though. She was a wonderful person. And I remember like sitting in the living room fighting with her about it. And she started crying. Like she was like, I can't believe you're saying this. I'm devastated. Well. And then I met my now wife. She was walking up and down the stairs. She would sit out on the stairs. We would kind of slightly interact, but I don't know that she knew my name. And then one day we sat outside, we talked for a while, and I found out she was a religion major. And I was like, oh gosh, why would you waste your time with that? We argued about things like Noah's Ark and, just back to the basics, and then she encouraged me. She's like, I don't have the answers you need, but I know someone who will. And it was her campus minister, a guy named Jim Brinkerhoff. Brilliant guy. It is at the local Church of Christ. And so I went there, talked to him. We met twice a week for like 2 hours at a time. And after 6 or 8 weeks, so maybe 20 or 30 hours of talking, he had basically convinced me that the Bible was reliable enough, that it was accurate enough. I mean, that's where I was at the time, that there was a God and Jesus had some role in the plan. And so I was like, what do I do now? Like, okay, you've kind of rocked my world. So what do I do now? And so we talked about, should be baptized. So okay, baptize me. So it was like a Wednesday afternoon, November 16th, 1998. I think it was Wednesday. I went up to the Auburn Church of Christ at 4:00 in the afternoon, got baptized. And it was kind of off on my way. If I dive into something, I don't go halfway. I go all the way in. You guys could probably tell that by now. And so I dove all the way in to Christianity, all the way into the Church of Christ. And I got to a point where I wanted to read every bit of theology I could read. And I just wasn't buying, for whatever reason, the Church of Christ theology. Not knocking people who do, just wasn't for me. I just couldn't find the consistency I was looking for. And so over time, I always had this gnawing in the back of my head that this is fine. I don't believe these people are going to hell. I just don't necessarily believe everything they're saying. But I was always kind of searching and wondering in the background. And I would read theology. I would read the Ante-Nicene Fathers. I read this series of articles or books or magazines, whatever. It's called the Millennial Harbinger. It was like the early Church of Christ formation documents. I read some of like Aquinas, trying to just get an idea of what is Christianity philosophically, morally, theologically. And And I finally started realizing, in my opinion, kind of all roads led to Rome. And the Church of Christ kind of set that up because their clarion call is, we want to be the first century church on earth. We want to recreate the first century church on earth. And the more I read, I kept thinking, there is that church still around. It's the Catholic Church. Like, that's the first century church. They believed in the real presence. I kept coming back to this. It ends in Rome. I came across, I worked with a guy who was Catholic. I don't want to say his name, but he was a smart guy. He gave me a series of tapes from Scott Hahn. And then I read the book, Rome Sweet Home by Scott Hahn. I was like, uh-oh, I got to be Catholic. This is where this is ending. And so I mentioned it to my wife. I was like, hey, I think I'm going to become Catholic, or at least I'm going to the Catholic Church and talking to him about it. She started crying. She was like, no, you're trying to ruin our life. We're going to lose all our friends. And we lost a bunch, actually. My family's going to hate us. I don't think they hate us, but whatever. So she's like, well, if you're going to go to these classes, I'm going to go with you. And she'll tell you now, she went because she was going to tell me everything they were saying was wrong and like be there to rebut it, But after a couple of the classes, I look over and she's crying. I'm like, oh gosh, she hates it. I'm doomed. What am I going to do? My wife's not going to want to do this. I want to do this. And we left. I was like, you all right? And she's like, it's beautiful. She was like, it's so simplistic and beautiful. Like, I always thought the Catholics muddied everything up. This is really beautiful. They would talk about salvation and grace and faith. And it was just like a systemic production. And so we entered the church. We went through with now OCIA, but it was RCIA at the time. We went through it from 2007 to 2008. In Easter of 08, March 23rd, 2008, we entered the Catholic Church. And immediately got involved, started teaching in the RCIA program at 3 different parishes in town. Because I like to teach, I like to study, I like to read, I like to prepare, I like to write, and that's all. It tickled all those fancies. And here we are today, still clicking along. I have not lived a perfect life. I have made mistakes. I've done things I regret, but that's why they have a confessional, and that's why Jesus offers grace and salvation and justification. So that's my testimony in a nutshell. I hope it was satisfying for you. I wanted to hear Gary's a friend of the show. He is a friend of the show. He can come on anytime he wants. I would have Gary on, and I'd be polite. I will never be mean to someone I invite on the program. I'll give them the last word. I might ask tough questions like, do you really believe this? No, I mean, I might ask tough questions, but I would never be rude to someone that I invited on. Now, if someone asks to come on, they get what they get. The fact that they make evidence to look truthful is diabolical. Like, you and Candace won't find the truth. They make themselves look guilty, straight to jail. If we confirm with the FAA that was fake, and I think we will, why else would he say that is accurate, that is factual? Other than he's guilty. Like, in my opinion, I can't think of another reason. Now, it's possible he did fly in on that plane, but they gummed up the itinerary for some reason. I don't know. And like released a fake one. With a misspelled name and under the wrong charter company. Why would you do that though? That's weird. That's too weird for me to buy. Does Dan Bongina own part of Rumble? Seriously looking into Catholicism. Thanks to you and Candace Owens. Thank you. I think he does. I'm not sure. I don't know the ownership structure of Rumble. I know they're public, so anyone who owns shares owns part of it. I'm old. Listen to Beach's cassette tape on Walkman, and bus ride home every day. Bet has amazing voice when not pushing politics. I also listen to the Beach's soundtrack on Walkman. You are the wind beneath my wing. Yeah, it's a great song. Hopkinson is an aircraft brokerage where they supposedly met. They're a brokerage for buying and selling, not that kind of brokerage where I don't think, not the kind of brokerage where like Jetly is a brokerage where you would log on to Jetly and they'll go find you a plane, and it might be from any charter company. But if they used a brokerage, it wouldn't be a Regency plane on a Paradise Jets itinerary. That doesn't make sense. Gary, for your high IQ hoodie fund. He needs a high IQ. Maybe I'll mail him one. That's a good idea. Gary, you got a gift coming. Just arrived. I apologize if you've already answered this. Did you get the manifest from the flight that went to Scottsdale from Santa Barbara earlier on 9/10/25? Fantastic show this evening. Hosanna and Christ is King. Sanctus. Sanctus. That's where Hosanna comes from. The manifest from the 910. You can't just go online and get a manifest. Not the way it works. Not the way it works. Can't just go get one. I agree. Something under shirt. Torso has welts, burns. Did you see chair? Looks like it has holes in it. I didn't see that. Didn't on the chairs, no. Gary never denied Mitch being at Fort H. Dumb people who follow you fall for this tactic. He said he couldn't prove what he said he saw there. Well, he said the police report was fake. Why would he think the police report was, or he acted like, well, we don't even know if this is real. I'll be interested to see if that's true. I'll go back and check. But you know, whatever. Look, I'm always happy to correct the record. Always. If I say something that's not true, just send me the facts. The dumb people who follow you, this is a high IQ outfit, man. There are no dumb people here. But thank you for paying me $5 to insult us. If you'd like to insult us more, it'll cost you more next time. Bronson just joined their chat. Knew he was undercover. Of course he did. Gary's doing a whole show on you, silly little man. Good. Drive your tiny little audience over here. EKAK will not survive jail easily. Good luck, guys. Well, I've not suggested they committed a crime. Certainly not beyond reasonable doubt, but in my opinion, they have some explaining to do. I've said this before, federal investigation into 501c3 violations, a total political organization, should be investigated. I agree. My husband died last July, and your personality and loving, sweet disposition have helped me through my grief. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing that with us. I like when you guys share struggles, victories, pains, all of it, prayers, requests. I mean, it's comforting. I'm comforted that you feel comfortable enough to share it with us, I guess is what I'm saying. I thought before maybe all the amazings for Mikey is because he's young and they're playing him in all this, and that's their way to manipulate him, with him being more naive and the wool pull the wool over. That's a thought. Maybe Mikey wasn't in on it, and they building him up by saying he's amazing, he's a general, and all that kind of stuff. And then entered the amazing Mikey McCool. Just so amazing. Rosie, Gary, bork, bork, woof, woof, Tilly. Oh, if Tilly starts saying that, we're going to have words. Gary and Lisa have a guest giving a rundown of your show. Hysterical, you're being reviewed. They can just watch it. I mean, like 40 times more people are watching this than his. They could just watch it. One of FT videos, Frank Turek from his event, he says after EK met with the doctor and after EK met with CK, they went and bought clothes. Yeah, I mean, that's a weird choice of words, but okay. Did you see that Iran claims to have gained access to FBI director's email? I did. I saw they released some videos and they were weird. The video of Cash dancing around the room like a woman. That's our FBI director. I guess that makes sense with J. Edgar Hoover wearing women's clothes, but nothing on Flight Radar, FAA, or Grok on N871PH. Do we know it exists? Is that a real plane? I've got it pulled up. I'll look at it. You are going max. I was today years old when Barron advised Erica to go to French Polynesia, finishing school and try to be normal. Did I say that? Oh, gosh, that's funny. I'm going to have to go back and watch that. Christ is King. Thank the Lord for you and Daisy. Yeah, thank you. I'm going to have to go back and watch that. I tell her to go to finishing school and try to be normal. Oh, gosh. I just say stuff. Please check 320 merch orders. Something happened on that date to many people. Shopify says email you regarding issues, but since we're not allowed to email, here's Super Chat. I'll check on it. I'll reach out to them and see what's going on. I've not gotten anything from them. I'll look at it. And I guess we have to go back and compare like the orders that came in. I'll check. Casey, guess what you're doing tomorrow? Gary blocked me too. I think it was the blink like Gary comments. Great show. FYI, ILL first name, sincere 2005. Since 2005. Go Illini. Oh, you guys are going to the Final Four. Yeah. The other assembly hall is going. Have you seen Ali Files tweet March 13th that shows a zoomed in video on Charlie's hand and it looks like his ring melts off his finger? No. Happy to do so though. Hold on. I got a message earlier. Was that her? No. I will check that out though. Ring melts off his finger. Ali files or Ali files. Yeah. Okay. I'll look at it. Unicorn means both born and raised here. Oh, please let me know if you or anyone in the gang needs help. Thank you, Usher Babe, for clarifying the unicorn comment. Yeah, good call. Thank you. Trump will pardon EK, IMO. Well, she's not been accused of anything. That'd be weird to preemptively pardon somebody. It's not unprecedented. It's happened. Actually, Biden, I think, may have set the precedent on that by pardoning Fauci and people like that. But also, she would only be pardoned of federal charges. The state could still file charges. How did we not know this about your teeth? That's really something you should have shared long ago. What? That I don't have cavities and I don't use fluoride and I've never worn braces? I did chip this one time. Got a little bitty. I had the dentist file it, so you can't really see it. But it's got a little tiny bitty chip on it right there. I don't know if you can see it or not. I did not know that was a fact worth sharing. I would not have hidden that from you. Can you briefly re-summarize your theory on how CK's necklace may have been involved in the Big Bang and his injury? I don't know that I have a theory. I just think there's no way that necklace whipped off like that. And so it looked to me like it might have accelerated at a very rapid pace. I don't know how. Like, I would have to know all things about advanced technology, and I don't. Visors, not hats. Oh, okay. RBP, Baron, excuse me. Baron, my friend, you are becoming the next Rush Limbaugh. God bless you and your family. Blessed Holy Week. Blessed Holy Week to you. Thank you for that very high praise. Without all the greatest ally stuff, I hope. Can you please have your wonderful wife share her coconut chicken curry recipe? Please and thank you. Sounds amazing. Don't forget any ingredients. And don't switch them up. That's the bigger problem. I'll leave it out and then I'll give you the wrong one. We'll talk to her about it. I felt the same when I saw Mikey in the video of CK's casket being loaded into the hearse. He's holding onto a stack of chairs or something. His body language doesn't look fake. IMO looks as if it just hit him that it was real. Have I seen that video? Oh yeah. That was because remember there were two different caskets. Believe it or not, that was weird. Man, I still can never get over that weird video of her over the casket. And someone like right here videoing it. That was so weird. So weird. That's the kind of stuff. Had they hired me and paid me $5 million a year, and she'd have said, hey, why don't we get a video of me hunched over his casket? I'd be like, whoa. French Polynesia. Like Polynesia, but the French version. Big Rig Baron. I spent summers, grade school years, with my dad in his red Peterbilt semi-truck. It was long haul. He told people gruffly, I got more miles backing up than you do going forward. That's kind of a cool saying. I'm jealous. Question mark. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Come on, please pull it up. Episode 86, 1649. Oh, what? Nah, it's too late. We're already at 3.5 hours. Remind me next time. Gary's arguing all the points you never made. Wow, that's typical. It's low IQ outfit. 249,000 subscribers, climbing to 250,000. Congrats to Bayron, to you and Mrs. Daisy. Prayers and hugs for great informative shows. Let me see here. Where are we now? We still under? No? Oh, yeah. We are 72 subscribers away from 250,000. And we're running out of time to do it tonight, guys. 72 of you need to subscribe. That's it. Just 72. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button while you're in there. My husband passed last July, and your personality and kind of, I already read that. Been a balm in my heart. Thank you for being you. Thank you. 2 videos on social media. EK saying she PO'd at employees. Frank T shutting down a September 10 attendee at an event who heard differently. EK acting ugly. Frank T hiding something. IMHO. I haven't seen the one saying she's pissed off at employees. Look at that. Family of 10 could profit off of Miss Coleman cookbook. Hint, hint. She sounds like a wonderful wife, mother, and cook. You think she got time to sit around raising 8 kids? Sit around and write a cookbook? Get to writing. There's money in it. That would go over well. For those interested in proof of decades of weather modification, look up Public Law 94490 and 15 USC Chapter 9A. Duly noted. For the sake of history and low IQ Joes watching years later, can you come up with a different code for J.E. besides Einstein? You're giving the real Weinstein a bad name. Einstein, I bet. I know Trigger Smart calls him E-Man or something. Big E. Not afraid of the Big E. Baron, you are the man. Bows. TPUSA died with Charlie. Agreed. This would have been hard to say if not for you and other OGs. They don't even deserve the name drop of the organization anymore. That's correct. They don't. Sent you an Adidas gift card in your Venmo a while back. Hope you received it. Also, please quit saying you're old because that means I'm old, fellow Nashvilleian. I'll have to check it out. How long ago? I haven't looked at Venmo in like a week. So I'll do that. But thank you. Thank you for that. Genuinely, thank you. I will put it to good use, I can assure you. Yeah, I usually try to respond to the Venmo people. I might miss one occasionally, but I try not to. But I only look every now and then. Like Venmo's not something I open a lot. But thank you. Today at church, we discussed the resurrection of Jesus, read Matthew 28:15-11. That's backwards. The guard report, nothing new under the sun. Yeah. Ivan, Gary, come out to play. I don't have Gary on. I just see if he wants to come on. No, I'm not going to promote a show like that. Can Gary be considered an accessory of some sort for helping promote their lives to cover the crime? Nah. That'd be fun. Christ is King. Love you, B. I don't think so. Love you more. Christ is King indeed. Did you see the medical peeps miscalculate daily dose for vitamin D? Off by approximately 5,000. Dr. Boz on YouTube explained. You nailed it. Do good, be kind, and keep your eyes on Christ. Thank you all. Yes. We're almost out of vitamin D season here in the Northern Hemisphere. You Southerners down in Australia, New Zealand, you people down there, South Africa, you need to start supplementing with vitamin D, K2, daily from now for about 6 more months. Up here in the Northern Hemisphere, we could probably either dial it back or do without for a few months, as long as you get out in the sun pretty regularly without sunblock. What is an attorney's favorite drink? A subpoena colada. I'll allow that. I think the Archangel necklace is a copper-plated necklace because copper is a great conduit. It's also very useful for witchcraft curses. Have you ever heard of how Adidas is really pronounced? Yeah, someone told me it's Adidas. I don't know if that's true, though. That doesn't sound right. No, not that, Gary. Oh, gosh. Whew. I was so worried. Thought we had low IQ people in the chat. We had a couple. They came in, dropped bombs, and left. I wonder if that Gary is just doing this for the money. TP money. He doesn't need it if he starts to report the truth. Maybe. Sorry, Baron. I tried to talk sense to Gary's viewers, but sadly, they're low IQ outfit. Gary's dribbling and they're all thirsty. What are they dribbling? That's gross. What's going on at Atlanta Airport? I don't know. Let's look. Atlanta Airport. Bomb threat. Passenger on an airplane. Frontier Airlines. Candace and HIH have history. HIH was a lib, caught her husband listening to CO, eventually became conservative during COVID. HIH interviewed CO in 2025, then spontaneously HIH attacked CO online. Guilty here. Totally streaming you live and Gary live. What a freaking tool to stream your live and trash talk everything you say. The dumb effery is master level over there, in my opinion. Don't give him the views. There's no reason to even watch it. I mean, you can. I don't care. But like, I'm not worried about anything he's saying. I'm just saying, why would you give him the views? It'd be the highest viewed show he had in weeks. He'll have like 2,000 people watch it. Sending love to y'all from East Texas. So I'm late. Shared the pod with a ton of folks. Some people I know had already been watching. Keep going, Max. Well, you sound like you hang out with high IQ people. AK will claim an affair if he's caught with flights. I'm sure it was EK who told CO about the tarmac hug. I'd have to go back and look. I don't think so. I think it was Andrew. If AK using small sources to cover his booty from plausible deniability, if someone figures out his false, imagine a word without daisies. A world without daisies. Is he hedging? Maybe that's what he's doing. Who's going to tell Paramount Twinkle Toes that once you're on defensive, you are losing every time? Law 101. Yeah, so in politics, we had a rule, if you're explaining, you're losing. Which... Hi, Baron. Are you familiar with the Walker Raleigh trial in Dallas, Texas? Raleigh was the lead minister of downtown First United Methodist Church who was found not guilty of attempted murder by strangulation. First I've heard of it. Is it possible for Andrew to fly from Santa Barbara to Scottsdale, have Hug there, then return to Santa Barbara, then fly directly to Provo with his wife? You won't believe this. Candace and I actually had that conversation this morning. And we concluded that we didn't think it was possible. Why don't unicorns date rhinos? Because they're too horny. My merch order also is in limbo. Was it March 20th? Because we'll figure it out tomorrow. When my sister gets on duty tomorrow, we'll get it worked out. I promise. Calvary Chapel is an influence network like TPUSA. Zionist pushing, Pompeo Sephardi ties, allegations involving minors, 501c3 scrutiny, and Hibbs' brother, first time meeting CK and bringing the mic. Yeah, there's a lot there. I'm just going to cover it all by saying that's a nice opinion. Nice opinion. Yay, first live been able to catch. Well, thank you, Jennifer. Welcome to the program. Wow, dropping membos on people. Thank you, Moody Cat. Oh my gosh, a funny video of the Avengers team. Watch it after the show. He allows use by you guys with attribution. By our music video. Thank you. Sad thing is, even if Tyler walks after a fair trial, the case will likely go into limbo. No further investigation will take place, leaving everyone with only their theories. It seems like that is their backup. That could be their backup plan. They just shut it down and say, well, we tried. We think he did it, and we couldn't get a conviction, so we're moving on. First live I've caught. I always watch in the morning time. You're fabulous. Oh, thank you. Hey, back on this. I've thought about that this is their backup plan of why they're complaining that we're tainting the jury pool. So that if he gets acquitted, they can blame us and move on. Which is nonsense, of course. First super chat joke landed like a ton of bricks. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know. Was there a super chat joke that landed like a ton of bricks? Gifted 10 memberships. Are you dropping 10 membos at once? Look at you people. Rosie, thank you. Rosie, thank you. Baron, do you think it was a joint decision, i.e. our government, BB, TPUSA execs, donors to take out Charlie? Or do you think it was decided by an individual person? Org, love the show. Go Max, and prayers for you and fam. I would think it would have some sort of joint involvement of some combination of those people. But again, that's just an opinion, and I don't know. Guys, I do know this. The end is nigh. We're pushing 4 hours. Thank you. You guys have been wonderful, wonderful, wonderful sports. Same advice as always. I have fun with Gary. I don't have any ill will towards him. I don't think people should get in there and try to like lob bombs at him. Just leave him be. Leave him be. No need to go crazy. But I do appreciate you watching. Don't forget the like button. Did we hit 250? Did 72 of you guys subscribe to the show? We did. 250,004. Guys, thank you. That's 250,000 subscribers. That's incredible to me. Absolutely incredible. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart. Genuinely. Thank you. I mean that with all my heart. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's really fantastic. You guys make my day. So I appreciate it. I'll end on this one because this was very nice. 7-year-old daughter came in and said, Baron, I love you, B. Keep your foot on these liars' necks. Daisy, rock 2. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. Guys, and don't forget, don't you ever forget, Jesus loves you. I'll be back tomorrow. Between 5 and 7. Not sure exactly what time we'll go live. Between 5 and 7. In the meantime, you guys have a wonderful evening. Have a wonderful night. Keep your spirits up, and we'll talk soon. See you then.